What's going on, guys? Mike is really grumpy because it's like 30 degrees, which isn't that cold here in Wisconsin, but
In Wisconsin, and your house is freezing. The heck? This is the friggin' basement. He's setups in the basement, people. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna be in the basement in Wisconsin when it's 30 degrees outside. I took a nap in a hat. That's how cold I am.
I have a picture of you napping. I sent it to Matt.
That is creepy, man. I'm not coming here anymore.
You look like such an old man because I'm not kidding you guys. He's on my couch. There's a huge couch cushion. There's a blanket next to Mike, mind you. But instead of using the blanket, Mike just takes the couch cushion and puts it on top of himself.
Because I was freezing and tired, and I have time to look. And your house needs to like have a heater. I don't understand this state at all. Everyone is like, it's fine. We'll just be cold here. It's ridiculous. I hate it. I'm going back to Tucson tomorrow.
That's funny. Well, what are we're doing? We're doing Q&A and
yeah. Put this over here. Put that over there.
You don't want this?
I'm full.
Can I keep eating?
I don't care.
Okay.
Your house.
Fair enough. Your stream. You're still my boss.
Fine, whatever. We're streaming. Yay, everyone. We're streaming. Welcome. I'm here in Wisconsin. It's cold. I'm not used to the cold weather, as you guys all know, because I live in Tucson. But we're going to go through some super chats, because I'm here in Arizona. No, I wish I was in Arizona. All right. Sorry.
All right.
Start going through these. What do we got?
Okay. So let's start here. Jake asks, thank you for the super chat. You said that Protestants are saved in Catholicism through baptism, but mortal sins forfeit salvation and must be confessed to a priest specifically to be forgiven, which many Protestants will never do. I'm assuming the question then is going to be, how are Protestants saved?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
So there's two different ways you can answer that. So I'll give you the Catholic and the Protestant answer. I actually need to stop. Look, come up here. I wear hats. My hair's sticking up on the side. This is ridiculous. I used to be a proper citizen. So the Protestant answer is going to be, that's not in Scripture. The Bible says we confess our sins to God. It doesn't say we confess to a priest, technically. So a lot of people are just going to be like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Now, the Catholic answer is going to be a little more complex, from what I can gather. It's going to be basically like, well, you should. That's part of it. But not confession is not damnation. Again, is what I can gather, and I could be wrong, but I'm sure some hardcore trad cath can correct me. Confession is, of course, very, very important, but it's not like, it doesn't like necessarily condemn you. And because there's like hypotheticals, like what if you're a very committed Catholic and you commit a mortal sin, you're on your way to the priest to confess, and you get hit by a car on the way and die, or you're in a war zone and you commit a mortal sin, and before you get out of the war zone, you get shot and you die, that kind of stuff. Like, do those people go to hell in Catholic theology? And the answer is, God ultimately judges, from what I can gather. You should confess your sins, or you should make an effort to. If you can't, there's that kind of problem there. So I take that kind of approach. Again, I don't think it's a deal breaker. I don't think even Catholics say it is. Again, my argument is quite simple. If Catholics accept that baptism saves, and they don't rebaptize Protestants, they're accepting that Protestants are saved. So
cool. I have nothing to add to that.
All right, go to the next one.
Jedi Ghost Bear, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. All right, Iron Eyes, thank you for the $20 super chat. Found that I had a utilitarian view.
That's lame.
Yeah, unexpectedly changing that helped immensely with my anxiety. I'm not surprised by that. I feel like the average Christian doesn't really consider ethical worldviews, which causes mental strife. How can we start convos about that? I actually really agree with the fact that I think they don't talk about it, and that it probably causes mental strife. My way of kind of starting conversations about that, because most Christians are not philosophers, is whenever I just hear any of my Christian friends in my church community like make any kind of a value judgment, I usually just kind of do a Socratic method and start asking them questions like, well, why is that good? Why is the right thing? Why is that the right thing to do? And you slowly but surely just start getting people to actually start thinking in that abstract way, and start thinking about these things a little bit more intentively. That's my my subtle way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just, in our worldview, because of the way that's shaped by secularism, just assume a utilitarian outlook. and that's just not in the Bible. So, I mean, you just go back to my conversation with Hunter Avalon a couple days ago on the channel. Anyone can go watch that. I mean, I just flat out asked him, like, are you assuming utilitarian outlook? And then when I started saying, well, that's not really the ethics in the Bible, he didn't really, I think that was like, he didn't really know how to handle that at the time because he wasn't expecting that. He weathered it later on. But I mean, like, that's just kind of thing. People just assume God's goals and obligations are going to be to reduce suffering and increase well-being. And that's where we get ideas like the problem of evil and suffering. When you have a virtue ethical outlook, that just dissipates.
Yeah.
So I think Christians do need to focus on that more. Yeah.
Okay. Rafu2345. Thank you for the super chat. What chooses an outcome in quantum mechanics, and why does a thing which chooses it choose that specific outcome? I was just still thinking about my last question from your last
Okay,
live.
hold on. What chooses an outcome in quantum mechanics, and why does the thing which chooses it choose that specific? Okay. So how much time do I have? We're going to explain Heisenberg and Dirac choices. I mean, so in quantum mechanics, you can't again, this is very simplistic language. I'm sure a quantum physicist can explain this in a far more better details, but you can't choose. You cannot decide where a particle is going to end up. You can either choose to measure like the velocity or the position. That's the Heisenberg choice. The Dirac choice is returned from nature. Nature decides the position of the particle or the velocity. Okay. You don't get to decide where it's going to end up. So what chooses it? I mean, at the end of the day, nature. It's going to, there's some randomness in it, but you could still say that there's certain natural laws that bring about that outcome, even if we can't be determined from our perspective. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Watch a video I did called The Measurement Problem from many years ago. That might help.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we?
Is blue one.
Yeah,
under the blue one.
It's always the blue one.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on. Keep your eyes up.
I'm so sorry. Christian Theology and Apologetics asks, what are your thoughts on Christian idealism's most recent video and community post? You
go ahead. You start that one. Yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah, I mean, so for those that don't know, Christian idealism is actually a friend of mine, a friend of my my other friend Tim Howard. Kyle, Tim, and I were kind of like some of the go-to people when it comes to the problem of evil. And recently, Kyle, who's Christian idealism, has had a paradigm shift, as he likes to call it.
Damn it, Kyle.
Kyle. My thoughts are, I'll say this. There's things that I'm just not going to disclose because that's between Kyle, Tim, and I. I'll say this, though. The views that he's adopted, I just don't agree with. I think Kyle is dead wrong on a lot of things. Like, so for instance, he expands on this a little bit in his community post. He, for instance, says that he doesn't take a propositional understanding of God's revelation. He takes an experiential model of God's revelation now. And one of the problems there is just going to be the fact that I think you would agree here is that Christianity is not just a propositional revelation. And in fact, it entails an experiential revelation. That one is transformative, that the propositions you affirm are only going to be important in virtue of the lived life in service to the King, who is Jesus. So there's a lot of issues there. He also mentioned that the Jewish understanding was a not Nicene understanding of God and who Jesus was.
No,
which is
that's bad.
And he quotes Larry Hurtado and some other scholars who actually disagree with each other on some of these things. The basic idea, though, is I just think I think there's something weird going on in the backdrop of this, and I don't feel like I'm at liberty to discuss that publicly.
Yeah, this is a thing I've seen a lot happen with people that get into idealism. Like, I'm a pretty hardcore committed idealist, but when you get into idealism, it's very easy to get untethered and go off into a lot of these kind of ideas. And really, the tether needs to be Christianity that keeps you to a better foundation that's going to make more sense, that's going to have an historical, traditional view. So, I mean, idealism, I think, can lead to a lot of like unfortunate ideas without that tether of Christianity. And so we need to remember that. That's why I'm very much an idealist and a Christian.
I'll say this too, just to add one more thing here. Because this is a big complaint that I have in general of the niche, even the niche that we're in, Mike, is a lot of people treat Christianity like a research project rather than a lived life in service to the living God. And if you're one of these people out there that is like searching for truth, but then the only part of the lived human experience you're trying to cultivate in service to Christianity or truth seeking is philosophy and the just the strictly logical stuff, but not trying to allow yourself to worship Jesus and have that spiritual encounter with God or anything like that. I think that's one of those things that's going to lead to the road that Kyle went down to as well. So I just really wanted to add that in.
Yeah. So we're going to start moving. Yeah. What else we got?
Can sin lead you to hell? What's your position?
Well, technically, yes, sin leads you to hell. But I mean, everyone sins, so it's not like sin necessarily leads you to hell. I was kind of talking about this with Hunter, because he was sort of going on that idea of like, you got to like do certain works to be saved. And if you do certain sins, you're condemned. And that's not really the Christian message. The Christian message is that Jesus saves, and what sends you to hell is rejecting Jesus. So, and if you reject Jesus, that is a bad sin. You're also idolizing yourself, which is a sin, or you're idolizing something else, which will bring you into hell. So, yes, sin leads you to hell, but there's a longer answer. You just can't say, oh no, someone murdered, someone's gay, therefore they're going to hell. You can't say that kind of stuff. That's not the way the Christian message works.
Agreed.
Why do you get so much? You got a lot of weird nerd stuff here. I just want everyone to know there's a lot of weird nerd stuff here. There's like prepper stuff up here. There's like anime stuff up here. There's like philosophy books down here. You need a therapist.
What I just have a lot of hobbies. Okay, you guys can see it, but it's just anime, Sonic stuff. How do I don't know how to do camera hands.
Listen, this guy is crazy. I'm in his basement freezing, and I asked for a glass of water. This troll brings me a glass of ice water. Who the hell do you think you are? I'm over here going, can I have just a glass of water? Here you go. There's ice everywhere. You should have brought me a fudgesicle too to really rub it in.
I'm gonna hurt Mike tonight.
What do you mean? We're fighting?
Who knows what we're gonna do? Okay. Upholder of the good. Hey, IP and Than, what do you think of this claim? Because of the fall, trans persons are trying to get back to the gender identity God wanted them to have. Cancer isn't God's design. Same for a trans person's body at birth.
Yeah, there is just no biblical basis for that idea at all. That is purely out of left field, to be honest. I get what you're trying to do. I think it's sincere. That's just not biblical. There's nothing that ever says the fall would result in this idea that we would be in the wrong bodies. The body is still good and made by God.
Mm-hmm.
What is sinful is our actions and things we do. But the body itself is still part of creation and therefore good. So that simply doesn't work from a biblical perspective.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I would even understand the fall in a way that would like the noetic effects of sin are going to be such that it would actually affect your gender identity that way, at least in the way that you're speaking of in the question either.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And also, I mean, you also remember this is assuming some sort of dualism that you are different than your body. No, your body is an essential aspect of you in Christianity.
Correct.
It's not this idea that there's this totally distinct Gnostic idea that your body can be something else other than you.
Yeah.
Your body makes up a very important component of you.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. All right. Christian Theology and Apologetics says, who has better theology, IP or Than? I just defer to whatever Mike says. Catholics have the magisterium. I have Mike.
That's right. I like that. We're going to go with that. That works. That works.
All right. Skylar Harris, is the deuterocanonical books inspired, or is it just the 66 Protestant books? What about the even broader Orthodox canon or Oriental Orthodox canon?
I mean, this all depends on what you mean by inspired, Because I mean, you go to like the Ethiopian church, they're not going to have the same understanding of inspiration you're going to get in like the Coptic church, let alone the Orthodox church, let alone the Catholics or the Protestants. Protestants have a much more like stronger definition of inspired, like that, like than the Catholics or the Orthodox would. So there's an assumption in there. What do you mean by inspired? Because Catholic might say, yeah, these books are for teaching the faith, and God gave us these books to teach the faith. And a Protestant might be like, well, was the Holy Spirit actively like guiding the hand or something? Or, you're going to get different definitions of inspired based on that. So there's a lot of assumptions in this question. So, again, it's going to depend on which church you're talking to.
All right. Noah Alban says Paul thought the parousia was imminent. Did Jesus?
Dun, dun, dun. So there's two ways to approach this. Yes, Paul, you could say, yes, Paul did, but notice what Paul does in 1 Corinthians 7. When he starts that section, he says, to the unmarried, I have no word from the Lord, but my own judgment. Okay, well, right then and then, he's telling us this isn't coming from Jesus when he talks about it possibly being imminent. You had Bram Rawlings on Exploring Reality a while back. Yeah, he talked about Ben Witherington saying that this might be taking Paul out of context. He's talking more about the new present world we're living in and the important roles we got to have. So you can check out that interview on Exploring Reality. No, I don't think Jesus thought it was imminent. I think he thought it was conditional. And therefore it could happen depending on how humans respond and what we do.
Yeah. To add one point there too is whenever you see language of imminence, there's a quantitative imminence, and then there's a type of imminence that we even use today where we're going to say, hey, this is coming soon. But really, we're not really we're not trying to say it's coming in a week or two. The soon-ishness of whatever the event is coming depends on the severity of the event we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And so take that into account as well when you're reading Paul or anything regarding the parousia. All right. John Knox. Hi, Mike and Than. I've had this thought that apologists and Christian philosophers would do well to focus more on the biblical meta-narrative to answer questions. What do you think?
He says biblical narrative, not meta-narrative.
Sorry, I just automatically insert that word.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree, especially when it comes to the problem of evil and suffering. Absolutely. Yeah. Or, I mean, like, problem of divine hiddenness, I think as well would also help that. So yeah, we definitely would agree. We've already been employing that.
Yeah. The reason Mike is here is because we just had an event at a university, and for those that don't know, like the theodicy that I give, I call it the cosmic story theodicy, and it's based off of the narrative of the Bible. And I take a narrative approach to talking about the war texts, for instance, and tons of other things. So I would agree with you. And hopefully we can kind of keep pushing that type of a methodology. Okay. I constantly struggle with so many doubts because I feel as if I have to have the answer to every question. How should I deal with this?
Yeah. You don't. I mean, there's nothing that says your salvation is contingent upon that, and there's nothing that says the plan of salvation is contingent on you having all the answers. I mean, you just got to be honest sometimes and just tell people that I don't have the answer. And you can be honest with yourself and say, I don't have all the answers, and it's okay. I mean, the good thing about Christianity is you can and should keep exploring those answers and keep working towards it. But just take your time. You got your whole life ahead of you. One question at a time. Do that.
Yeah, you should definitely explore reality.
But unching.
I'll say this too, because I went through something like this too at one point in my life, and what I came to realize is that I didn't have this attitude when it came to pretty much anything else in my life. I felt like I only had to have all the answers to my Christian worldview, but I didn't have to have all the answers when it came to like trusting that my wife loves me or anything like that. And so it might just be worth examining how you approach life in general when it comes to other things that you believe in, and then ask yourself, like, why do I have this inconsistency, if there is one, with how I approach my faith versus these other aspects of my life. And oftentimes I find when I'm working with people that are doubting their faith or going through doubts, there's something a little bit deeper going on. Yeah. All right. Why did God create IQ differences in races?
So that's a myth. There's no correlation between IQ and your race. There are socioeconomical correlations to IQ differences, and there are socioeconomic correlations to race. Maybe that has something more to do with it. This is just correlative, not causal. So, yeah, this is often going to depend on history and the way that we still have artifacts, I would say, of racism in the past that has led to IQ differences in certain communities, but we don't see that across the board for all people of African or European descent. I mean, for example, in West Virginia, there's a lot of poor people and really low IQ there. So I mean, you got to look at it from that perspective.
All right.
Someone asked who's taller. Me.
Is that wait?
Wait, just came in early. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait till that one. I don't want to. Anyway, Dylan Johnson says it was super cool hanging out in San Diego with UIP. Also, is it possible that the trees in the garden were symbolic and not literal?
Yeah, super cool. I'll be back in San Diego again, by the way, Dylan, for the Bless God conference. Than is going to try to come too. So that's for Jerusalem. So if you want to come out to that, we'll be there. It's possible. I just don't think that's what Genesis 3 is saying. I think it's very literal. I mean, it's hard. You'd have to give me a good argument from exegesis that they're symbolic, and I just don't see it. I think the author of Genesis 3 is trying to say they are literal trees that are there.
Really quick on the note of
you talk. I'm gonna get my ice water you got for me.
Do you need me to get you more water?
No, I don't trust you.
How may I serve you?
Just answer the question.
We already answered the question.
Right.
What I was going to do is this really quickly.
Right. What are you doing?
I was gonna share the donate page.
Okay, go ahead. Fine, do your thing.
Because Mike just said that we're trying to get me out to the Bless God Summit. So remember, you guys, that we are trying to raise some support so that way Mike can make me work for him for more hours than he already does. But also, if you want to...
It sounded horrible the way you worded it. I just don't know.
That was the point. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's your punishment. It's called karma. That's karma. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Mike did that to me, actually.
Yeah.
You just didn't see it. So anyway, please go. I'll send a link in the chat if you want to help support us and be able to help Mike have me work for him even more. Please consider supporting. Go to the donate page, and if you want to, you can even click a comment in there and let them know it's for me. If you want to help us afford me the trip to, I am trying really hard to talk.
Yeah, I'll talk. So if you guys want to donate, just go to inspiringphilosophy.org/give, and you can help fund to get Than to the Bless God conference, because that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yes.
Be good for networking. So, all right.
Okay. Next question. I'm agnostic, but I don't want to just ignore the possibility of God. What is the best evidence for the resurrection of Jesus?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, this is a lot when people sort of ask that, they just want one sort of slam dunk argument. And I mean, the argument for the resurrection is holistic. And one of the things I said last night is when you look at it on the surface, it's very easy to just dismiss it all, saying, oh, the disciples just lied, or there was just a myth invented later, or they all hallucinated. But when you start to dive into that and you really try to get into the details and the nitty gritty, it becomes harder and harder to explain. One of the big things a lot of scholars are doing right now is trying to say, well, this can be explained via hallucinations. This can be explained via cognitive dissonance. And that really doesn't add up at the end of the day. So check out Nick Meter's book on the resurrection that he recently wrote. He's a psychologist. He goes into a lot of that he points out hallucinations, cognitive dissonance cannot explain the resurrection that easily. So the fact that we know that based on the evidence for the reliability of the Gospels, Jesus did appear to the disciples in group settings and multimodal form. How do you explain that on a naturalistic hypothesis? It's incredibly hard to do, if not impossible. So that's what I would say is going to be the best evidence. The fact that these appearances did happen, and to skeptics, and there's no good naturalistic explanation for it. So check out that kind of data. But you need to really go into the whole case, because there's not just one slam dunk. It's a holistic case.
Yeah. Just adding into this, this is a area of two areas of evidence that I think people don't talk about enough. One is going to be the like evidence when you're talking about the prior probability of the resurrection. I think there's very good reasons to think that if a perfect God exists, he would become incarnate and validate that incarnation through something like a resurrection. And I have arguments on exploring reality, like my old channel on that.
Mhm.
Maybe we can make a script over here to
Yeah, we're gonna
modernize
eventually
that.
remake a lot of fans videos on this channel, like the Jonah one for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one on Behemoth,
Ooh,
Leviathan.
Behemoth was a dinosaur.
No.
Oh, wait, okay, wait. I'm not. Wait, I want to finish my thought. The second one, which we've talked about already at some before, and we'll have more stuff on this topic, even possibly a series, is modern day miracles done in Jesus' name.
Mhm.
Just think about it. If Jesus is dead, him doing miracles today doesn't make any sense. But if Jesus is alive, him doing miracles today makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
OnlyFans, thank you for the super chat.
Never
Why?
ends.
Wait. Why are you guys so hunky? Ooh la la.
All right, I'm leaving. You know, this started out as a joke, sir, and then you just had to make it worse. I'm disappointed in you. Okay. But
Wait, you said sir. Did you just assume their gender?
Okay, I'm disappointed in you, Zeether. But keep sending in super chats. Okay.
Yeah, keep throwing money at us. All right. Steve S. Would it matter theologically if some of the minor patriarchs like Tubal Cain were ahistorical?
No, I don't think it matters theologically. I just don't think that's the best reading of the text. I think they're talking about them as if they were real people. But in terms of just affirming essential core doctrines, no, it's not a problem.
All right. Aaron Raju, good evening. I know you have some books on your site, but who are some of your favorite New Testament authors?
New Testament authors? Well, Paul. I've always liked the Gospel of Matthew. I mean, John, of course. I mean, this is impossible to pick. They're all great. I mean, like, which New Testament author am I gonna like throw shade at? I mean, they're all great.
Matt is saying that your gain is higher than mine, but Matt, just so you know, we're using the Scarlet thing, and both are maxed out. So
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Matt. Mike's gain is a little low. Oh, whatever. Matt doesn't know what he's talking about.
Project.
Okay.
Say it with your chest.
No, he says no, lower than yours. So I'll try to talk better. Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Jeez. Can you just text me next time? I'm right here. Hell. Next super chat.
Oh man. Okay. Only Mike's.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaving.
Why you can't blame me for this?
I'm blaming you for this.
It's the reason Mike hired me is because of the sex. Thoughts on thought OnLifans was good. Guess again. Make me part of your philosophy, and your fantasies will be even more inspiring.
I will repent in ashes and sackcloth. I apologize, dear Jesus.
They're the sinners. This is like objectifying nuns.
I'm very disappointed in these people that are sending in these very helpful super chats.
Like, sure, keep throwing money at us, but
next one.
But repent. Okay. Where do we need the we need to have like a soundboard of Paul Washer going blasphemy. Y'all play any video games?
I've not played them in a while. During election night, I was like panicking because I was worried about what was going to happen because it's election night. There's a lot of anxiety. So I downloaded Metroid Prime on the Switch that we have, the old like N64 game, or it was on GameCube or something. And I just played that all night recently just to so I wasn't just watching the news all night. So I did that because I didn't want to get too political, but that was like the most recent game I played and I beat it all. Nice. And then I beat it on hard mode around Christmas. So I was proud of myself.
We should, if you're feeling up to it, we should film you trying my VR system tonight.
No. I almost said
I have for context to you guys. I play a lot of video games. I love video games. When I was in the fire service, I'm still really good friends with one of the guys that was one of my partners. He gave me a Valve Index. And I love to play VR games too. And I'm trying to get Mike to try it. So throw more money at us, because I'm willing to bet if you throw enough money, Mike will do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm gonna be too tired. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to sleep after this. Yeah, no.
I play Minecraft. I play all sorts of stuff. So
You play Minecraft?
I do, dude. I'll show you my Minecraft.
No, I don't care. I hate Minecraft.
It is really cool.
No,
I have a bunch of redstone stuff. I have everything automated, like automatic sorting system.
No.
My house is huge, and it literally, like, after I'm done with an adventure, I'll come home and I throw my stuff that I get. Okay, I'll stop.
I'm not a Minecraft fan. Sorry.
All right. NJ, what is your thoughts on little season eschatology, where the millennium already happened, but it was covered up?
Yeah, I've not really heard much on that, especially recently. I don't believe in it for sure. Let's just say that.
I've never heard of it. Yeah, no. So I don't believe in it either.
No, I don't think there's a lot of good evidence for it. And
is it unethical to chew a hypothetical gum which has no benefits to digestive and dental health, and thus improperly uses your natural teleology?
What?
It sounds like
hypothetical gum. So it's not real?
Okay, look, if I'm gonna interpret this as charitably and philosophically as possible, assuming like probably a natural law theory, everybody has a telos, and the right thing to do is to act in accordance with your telos, and that means that you should be doing the things that are like based off of the you should be pursuing things that fall in line with your telos. But chewing gum that has no benefits and using things against their telos would be considered going against natural law, and therefore would not be good to do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's my way of interpreting this. Yeah. And I would actually still say no, depending on the model of natural law.
Yeah. All right.
How to address people who struggle with the implication of hell, family members who died and didn't believe, sort of stuff. Also, do dogs go to heaven?
So the one thing you remember is even the Catholic Church has not said anyone is in hell, not even Judas. We don't know. That is for God to judge. That will always be for God to judge. And you need to keep that in mind. So for one thing like that. The other thing to keep in mind is watch my video, Does God Send People to Hell?, where I talk about this a little bit. What hell is just is the continuation of someone who's living in sin. And they eventually become the worst version of themselves. So think of a couple that gets married, and then the husband becomes abusive. The wife leaves because that person has no longer become the person she fell in love with. That happens. That's the process of hell. They become the monster that they were not originally. And the heaven is realizing that everything that we loved in them was always in Christ to begin with. So that's a difficult truth. It's emotionally can upset people, but we need to focus on the logic, not necessarily the emotions.
Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on the theory that Jesus walked on a sandbar, not water? Apparently, there's evidence of sandbars in the Jordan River where it connects to. Why stop at a sandbar? Why not just say he did some David Blaine stuff and like? Was it David? No, not David Blaine.
He wasn't in the Jordan River. He was in the Sea of Galilee. Yeah. I mean, like the miracle would be a sandbar showing up right there at the perfect time for him to walk on, and him go halfway across the Sea of Galilee.
But also, it's like, why think that that's what happened, even if there were sandbars there? Because very clearly, like, everybody that's reporting this said he walked on the water.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make sense. What constitutes a heretic, and is William Lane Craig considered a heretic?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, honestly.
Answer.
I mean, I'd say if he can say the Nicene Creed, he's fine. If not, I'm going to start to get a little questioning, and that's unfortunate. But I tend to say he's not, because he does say he believes in the Trinity. So it's just he may believe in just a non-Nicene form of it. However, Tertullian didn't believe in the Nicene Trinity technically. He was a Trinitarian, but he would not have agreed with some of the things in the Nicene formula. That doesn't mean necessarily he's not a Christian, because he does affirm the core doctrines. I always say we can say the Nicene were Christians as a general basis, but I do admit there is some gray room that Mormons don't fall into, or Jehovah Witnesses, or Unitarians, or Oneness Pentecostal. But for someone like Tertullian, there is that.
Yeah. All right. Thoughts on Kamazuski and Bowman's book, Christ and Critics? Not sure to get it.
Oh, get it.
Yeah, get it.
Oh, God, I read it. I read the whole thing. It's great.
Yeah, they sent both of us an early copy.
Did you read it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I loved it.
It's a great book. Yeah. I highlighted the whole book. Whole book. Just one page.
Literally.
Coloring the whole, like, this is a good page. Oh, look, this is also a good page. You know.
Yes, get it. It's a good book. All right. Aaron, again, can you expand on your view on creation and Adam and Eve being the first priests? Also, Mike, don't disrespect anime. Attack on Titan is a must watch.
Wow, I've not watched that.
You and I agree on this, so I'll just let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, so the one thing you got to keep in mind is that Adam is given priestly roles in the garden. I mean, when it says to work and keep the garden, those are the same things we see in Leviticus that were words. They were words used for the priests. They were supposed to do that with the tabernacle, and it's the same verbs that are being used. So that's set up in this, and God sort of establishes Eden as like a temple area where humans can come and meet with him. There's like an inner, and then we see like there's kind of like this. This is generally, I mean, I don't know any scholar that even disagree with this. That Eden is sort of functions as the first temple where humans meet with God, and they get exiled from that sacred space. And then Cain and Abel are meeting at like probably the border of that sacred space. They can't go in though because of the exile issue. So they're definitely set up in this sort of priestly role that sort of represents all of humanity before God in this sacred space. So I mean, like, yeah, it's. Check out my Genesis 1 to 11 series. We go into a lot more details there.
All right. Also, yeah, Attack on Titan is a must watch.
Okay.
If you don't do Attack on Titan, do Solo Leveling.
I have
really good.
Too many books to read. I don't have time for this.
I do both at the same time.
Good for you.
I'm also learning Japanese to try to sorry. Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? What do you guys think of the idea of postmortem opportunity? I think we both endorse that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like Protestants like Jerry Walls, I think, accept it.
All right. Does imputed righteousness cause the church body to repent of all past sins for us? Do those outside the covenant today only have to repent of unbelief, or do we repent of our Romans 6 old man?
This is a lot. There's a lot of complexity. Does imputed righteousness cause the church body to repent of all our past sins for us? That's going to be different. What the answer you're going to get depending on what theologian you're talking to. So that's highly debatable. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it really matters in terms of salvation because we're saved by grace through faith, not of works. So if you forget to repent of a sin, that doesn't mean you're out. I think Christ covers all that. Do those outside of covenant today only have to repent of unbelief, or do we have to repent? I mean, like, yeah, we should repent of our old selves, but I think that just naturally comes by accepting Christ. I don't think you need to actually say it out loud. That's just as a natural result.
Yeah. Okay. Bart, sorry, Carl Barth, I'm assuming he's talking about. No word of Paul is absolute truth. Would that be considered heresy by today's standards?
No word of Barth? Who the heck is Barth?
Karl Barth.
Oh, okay.
The guy that's anti-natural theology.
Yeah, I would say that it's heresy. I think the Holy Spirit and Jesus is guiding Paul. So, you know, what you're getting from Paul, except when Paul specifically says, I don't have a word from the Lord. This is my own judgment. We should assume the Holy Spirit is guiding him. Yeah.
I guess it really depends too on what you mean by the word heresy again here too.
Yeah.
Like if you mean heresy in it gets complex, but I would agree with that. Like I would say Barth is wrong for sure.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking that was the first name. I'm like, who the heck is this Bart guy?
Bart Ehrman. You see? All right. Coley, what's up, dude? What is y'all's view on original sin? P.S. Than the book, The Existence of God is Rockin' My World. Good.
Yeah, we both take a Greek Orthodox view of original sin.
Yep.
It's the idea that Adam passed on a sinful nature to his offspring.
All right. IP. Have you ever heard of a scholar or paper claiming that John the Baptist spoke as a child in Luke's gospel?
No,
I
I
haven't
don't.
either.
I've not heard that at all, and I don't think there's any evidence that's the case. I mean, there's he leaps in the womb, but he doesn't speak as a child in there. So no.
I'm trying to even. Yeah, if that is a paper out there, email it to
Yeah,
me.
I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, email
Yeah,
to me or Mike, or at least for me for sure. Than at
I wonder if that's just a
inspiringphilosophy.com.
really weird, like early church idea that like happened like in like the 4th century. Someone was saying that. I don't know. That sounds like something
It
you'd hear
sounds
from
like
the 4th
something. Yeah.
century. You know.
All right, Bobby Morgan. I'm agnostic. However, Professor Dave did debunk God in a 5-part series. 3 of them debunked just young Earth creationism. The 2 others debunked the idea of God in general.
Okay.
Do we have a stream idea here?
I think we do. Do we have to go through Professor Dave's videos? First of all, he's blocked me on Twitter because I was showing him studies on how, yes, it is shown that people who wait to have marriage have better marriages and more satisfaction in their marriages. So he blocked me for citing studies showing that. So we're not talking about the cream of the crop here, ladies and gentlemen. I thought he was interested in science. He wasn't just when I was giving him scientific studies. So if he debunked the idea of God, okay, sure.
I'm looking it up, and I can't.
We'll look at it. We'll find it.
Send us the playlist. I would love to see this.
He debunked. Okay. Someone tell the professional philosophers like Richard Swinburne that this guy on YouTube debunked his whole career's work. Yeah,
and he did it with a meme, probably.
Yeah,
the Epicurean Reddit, the Reddit Epicurean paradox.
New atheists or something. I'll tell you, they really are real proud of themselves. We debunk God. Oh, okay, yeah. You read Aquinas? Who's that? I'll debate him now. That's what someone told me once.
Really?
Yeah, many years ago. I said, but if you read Aquinas, I'll debate him instead of reading his book.
Yeah, if they become a Christian and get the resurrected bodies, they can.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, the vaults. What is Eucharist, and is it cannibalism?
Okay, so it isn't cannibalism because the molecules are not changing. First thing we have to remember is the Eucharist. It's a mystery. Okay, at the end of the day, it's a mystery. We say it's the body and blood of Jesus. Jesus said that. How does that go about? Hard to really say. The way the church has historically done this is with transubstantiation. So you have Aristotelian categories, you have substances and accidents. Okay. Substance is like the core essence of something, and accidents are like, take a dog. There's something that makes it the core essence of a dog, but the fur, the color, the legs, the length, the size, these are accidents. They can change.
Just like me.
So yeah, with transubstantiation, the substance changes, but all the accidents of the bread and wine stay the same. So it's still the accidents of bread and wine. It's not flesh and blood. But also the Catholic Church has said, and the Orthodox Church says, the molecules don't change. There's something underlying that, like some sort of like, maybe you could say spiritual essence that changes, but it's still molecules of bread and wine as accidents. So no, it's not cannibalism because you're not literally eating flesh and blood made of those molecules. So you got to keep that in mind. And again, you just Google Catholic Church cannibalism Eucharist, you'll get that answer.
Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised you didn't laugh at that joke where I called myself an accident.
Sorry, I was thinking about the answer. I didn't have time for your silliness.
It's okay. Do you want to admit that I'm an accident right now? Or I'll keep going.
Just keep going.
Last question, and thank you both. How did you get so good at your craft?
Yeah, I drank too much and then I ended up here. I don't know. What do you mean? I don't think I'm that good at it. I get through this a day at a time, sir. I'm doing my best.
I don't think Mike is that good either. Me, on the other hand, I'm just kidding. Man, I know this sounds Christianese, at least on my end, but I honestly don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for God opening the doors and equipping me in the ways that he has to do the craft that he's given me to do, and putting people in my life that have helped me cultivate the craft that I have. So, so that's my serious answer. Sheik, what your mama gave ya, says.
I love Islamic puns.
Favorite patristics work can be either most theologically profound or just what you find most interesting, enjoyable to
I
read.
still like Justin Martyr's first apology. I always go back to that. I don't know. I really just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to count it, but I really like reading through Augustine's Confessions.
That's good. I like Augustine's work on the Trinity. I think that's good too. Yeah.
Okay. Since you are partial preterist, what is fulfilled?
Everything except the second coming, final resurrection, and final judgment, and the what we see in Romans 11 about the fullness of the Gentiles coming in, and then the salvation of Israel. So everything is fulfilled, but that.
IP, how worried are you concerning Kelly Powers' hard-hitting, irrefutable response to your discussion with Ruslan and others about baptism?
Who the heck is Kelly Powers?
I don't know what she. Yeah, okay, so you don't know what you're talking. What this is either.
No, what is this? Who's Kelly Powers? I never even heard of Kelly Powers.
Is she related to Austin Powers?
Yeah, baby. I have no clue. I typed Kelly Powers into YouTube. Nothing is coming up. What is going on?
Kelly Powers. I typed in baptism too. Hold on.
This is a waste of our time, sir.
Yeah, send it. Send it to us, please.
We got more super chats to go through. I will look at that later.
Okay. Who's taller? Mike is taller than me.
I'm about an inch taller than him. Yeah, I'm 5'8". You know.
Not that much.
Or what are you? 5'7", 5'6"?
I'm 5'7" and a half ish. It depends. I'm 5'7". But sometimes I don't know. Mike is taller, but by how much we don't really know. Not more than an inch. Gabriel Valencia, tinkering with the idea that we can only know certain aspects of God in a world with evil. Am I right on this track? Am I on the right track?
We can only know certain aspects of God in a world. I would say because of sin, we can only know certain aspects of God. I would say that, you know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Will subscribing to OnlyFans increase my iman?
Yeah. Now here's the thing: you can only do it through inspiringphilosophy.org/give. That's how you subscribe to the OnlyFans, and you'll get exclusive fan content delivered right to your doorstep, sir.
What is exclusive? This is again. If you want to help support us, Mike is. I don't know what exclusive fan content is, but
Matt and I already have pictures. It's fine. You'll figure it out later.
Matt is saying I told you, Than, in the chat too, and I don't know what it is that you told me, so you're gonna have to make that more explicit. You tell me a lot of stuff. Okay. Did Jesus have rabbinic training historically?
I don't think he was like that. That's difficult to even understand what would be qualified as rabbinic training in the first century, because
there's so many different.
The more formal structure we see come out later did not develop yet prior to 70 AD. I think he attended synagogue constantly. I think he was reading the scriptures as much as he would have been available to him. I think that he did as much as he could, but I don't think he was actually like studying under some well-trained rabbi in Jerusalem for many years now. And that's kind of implied in the Gospels that he was some unlearned Galilean peasant that somehow knew all this stuff. So,
Matt clarified too. So he said that he told me that Mike is slightly taller. I don't have a memory of that, Matt, and it's because I just have a selective memory about the things that I don't like listening to. Thanos. Here to bring balance to apologetics.
We need. That's a good one. I never thought of Thanos.
I like this. I am so excited to see what else you guys come up with.
Thanos.
All right, first super chat ever. Y'all are awesome. I was wondering if you knew anything about Seven Mountains and Dominion theology. My dad got a book, and the apostles in the cover were giving me bad vibes.
Yeah, that sounds like heresy. That sounds like a cult. Seven Mountains and Dominion theology. I don't know what that is.
Is that the book? Is that a book?
I don't know. Google it. Google it, Than. Seven. I mean, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. My dad got a book, and the apostles in the. See, they're calling themselves apostles right then and there. That should give you bad vibes. We don't use that term anymore because that's showing reverence to the actual apostles for what they did.
Okay. It's I don't know if this is actually what it's supposed to be, but this is known as transformationalism, aka the Seven Mountains Mandate. It teaches that Christians should control 7 societal domains: religion, family, education, government, media, arts,
See, that's
entertainment.
just
Yeah.
that's just Christian nationalism, man. Like, it's not our job to necessarily control that stuff. It's our job to get the gospel out.
Yeah.
If we do have access to doing that, yes, but that's not our main goal. And to say that's our main goal is a problem.
Yeah.
That those are side issues at the end of the day,
We can influence those spheres.
and we should.
Yeah. But control like an authoritarian way.
Like
no.
it's got to be our goal to get there. No, that's
Yeah.
gonna distract from our actual goal.
Correct.
What is? Oh, never mind. Go
What?
ahead. Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Hyperhub. From Mike's view on sanctification and virtue ethics, it seems like sanctification is paying off your debts by yourself in heaven. Does this make Christ's sacrifice?
No,
useless?
I'm not saying that at all. Sanctification is something the Holy Spirit does. It teaches us how to obtain the virtues and helps us and guides us and pushes us in that direction. We're not the ones doing it. It's God. So.
And the motivation for that is not to earn heaven. It's because that's what it means to be in union with Christ.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Have you read Christ Before Jesus? Yes, I have.
Oh, is that crazy mythicist book that you told me about?
Paul mythicist, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have. I actually worked with a scholar named Jason Wilson on this. After we kind of looked at everything, we actually contacted them, got their methodology, everything that we needed to kind of like really look into it. I'll say this. The style, because at the end of the day, like all the other arguments in that book, aside from the stylometric analysis that they do, is just basic mythicist, really bad arguments. They do try to do something novel with their stylometric analysis, and that's what we're really focused on. But if you want to see why we never really went any further, Jason and I just left a Amazon review on their book. So if you look on the reviews on the Christ Before Jesus Amazon page, you'll see a review by Jason Wilson. The TLDR, or the long story short version, is they used an invalid and outdated statistical methodology.
Oh, imagine my shock.
So I've read it, and I don't think their arguments work.
Okay, well, that's enough for that book.
Who is Melchizedek? How was he a priest to Abraham?
Yeah, there's a lot of different debates on that. Some think it is Jesus in a pre-incarnate form. Some think it was a guy who's just a priest for the one true God. Depends on what tradition. Read Hebrews. This is not an area I'm that well versed in, but Hebrews talks a lot about Melchizedek. That's what I'd say go to. And if you go to the Greek Orthodox Church, I think they're pretty much convinced this is Jesus.
Cool. I haven't thought much about this. So.
Yeah, I want to do more on it. I've been meaning to do it for a while because it is a very interesting topic because of Hebrews, and I want to look more into it.
Okay, how would you explain the Trinity to Hebrew roots folks who question it as pagan or not Jewish enough?
God,
man, I actually have not interacted with Hebrew roots people before.
Oh, get your whiskey out.
If they're gonna say it's pagan or not Jewish enough, I got something for you. But anyway, I used to be in that camp and still converse with people who are in Hebrew roots realm.
Yeah, this is the problem with Hebrew roots, man. It is a gateway to heresy in so many ways. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong, but man, I find a lot of them in there, and I'm just like, holy crap, anti-Trinitarian nonsense. Okay, first off, there's nothing in paganism that is the Trinity. Okay, people are like, what about Hinduism? No, it's a trimutry, and it's more like modalism.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, when you talk to these Hebrew roots folk or these anti-Trinitarians, when they start comparing the Trinity to things in paganism, ironically, their analogies more align with heretical views of God, like oneness or Unitarianism. Like Jehovah's Witnesses will try to bring up like the Trinity's pagan. They literally believe in a created God. They think Jesus is a created God. That's more aligned with paganism than Trinitarianism would be. Like, you can't bring up the Hindu because that's modalism. So that's a huge problem. But if you read people like Benjamin Sommers, for example, in his book, The Bodies of God, he says like the Trinitarian idea is in the Hebrew scriptures, or at least he says a multi-personal understanding of God is in the scriptures. There's also the book, The Two Powers in Heaven. Again, another Jewish scholar pointing that out. I forget the guy's name though.
Alan Segal. And I was actually going to talk about the Two Powers in Heaven thing, because if they're going to say that it's pagan and not Jewish enough, well, I got news for you.
Oh man,
I got news for you. The most Jewish thing that you could do is believe in a multi-personal Godhead, because there's this thing called the Two Powers in Heaven idea. Again, Alan Segal. I always want to make sure I'm not conflating that name with the something Seagal.
Steven Seagal is who you're
Yeah.
thinking of.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's the famous guy. Yeah. Alan Seagal wrote a book, and by the way, Alan Seagal is Jewish. Wrote a book called The Two Powers in Heaven. He talks about how the Jewish people, the pre-Christian Jews, believed in a multi-personal God. Prior to the outset of Christianity, we had a guy named Philo of Alexandria who actually talks about God and the two powers, who are also still God, funny enough. And this guy was alive and writing before Jesus, alive during the time of Jesus. And coincidentally enough, after the outset of Christianity, guess what gets anathematized by the Jews? The two powers in heaven idea.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short is, if you can familiarize yourself with the two powers in heaven idea, you have
it'll be
fun
fine.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Your friend Ruslan was cooked hard in exposed videos for ripping people off.
I'll ask him about it.
Yeah, I don't know
about this. Just move on. We're not getting into gossip.
No. IP, would you ever make a video document or something similar of the books you have?
Would I ever make something similar of the books I have? Maybe. It just depends on my time. I have a lot. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just managing
that would be a
time.
lot of time.
Yeah, it's hard to like sit down and do something like that, because that'd take like a whole day or more when I could be making videos, and I gotta get a whole bunch of stuff done. I got a lot of travel coming up. I'm gonna be in Australia, London in June. I mean, Australia in May. So I mean, a lot of stuff coming up. I'll be in Brisbane if anyone's interested. I'm not coming to Sydney or Perth or anything.
All right. Have you read Thomas L. Thompson's book on the Patriarchs?
Some of it, but it's been a while since I've read it. And it's an older book. Yeah, I just wasn't really impressed.
All right. I don't know what this is in reference to, but he was talking about your gym gains. Yours specifically, probably.
Cool. I've been doing push-ups lately, but I pull-ups. But I mean, I don't go to a gym. I don't really want to go to a gym. I'd rather just work out at home.
Kaysen, thank you for showing up, man. And thank you for the super chat. You guys look amazing together. I told you we are a good team.
I'm gonna have a chat with you, Kaysen.
All right. Mahler from the Truth Cartel is doing a live on you later. Why don't you pull up to discuss your view on
who the heck is these people?
Okay, like, man.
Truth Cartel? Okay.
Dude, you should be scared. The cartels.
What am I gonna do?
Did I get in business with the wrong guy?
Man? I don't even know what Truth Cartel is. Like, there's just a million channels.
Look, I'm trying to find it too.
I don't care. I can't find anything, so I do not care.
I don't care either.
No. I mean,
I did one Google search.
If I type in the channel and it doesn't come up immediately, it's probably some tiny small channel, and I don't have time for them.
Nobody got time for them. Is Paul's use of authenteo in 1 Timothy 2:12 a reference to false teaching, possibly related to astrological cults like Artemis, rather than to church eldership, since it's not his usual word for church authority? When Paul says, like, I do not permit a woman to have authority over a man.
Yeah, I think that's probably mistranslated. There's a book that's been written about this. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they basically point out that Paul is saying, I do not permit a woman to teach she has authority over a man, I think is what they're arguing, based on also cultural context of Ephesus of the time. So
gotcha. There's a lot of really interesting views on this. Another possible way to kind of look at this too is that word authenteo has more to do with like radical domineering, rather than like the authority to like teach somebody or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. The resurrection narratives develop like legends from Mark to John. Your guys' response?
No, they don't. Well, first of all, if that's the case, why is it not the case with the death of Jesus? I mean, there's more miracles in the synoptics, and there's none in John that take place during the death. And then John only has 7 miracles throughout Jesus' ministry, much less than Luke or Mark. So if there's a development, why is it only with the resurrection narratives and not with and if it's a development, why is John not talking about the earthquake that's in Matthew?
Paul is sitting here going, am I a joke to you?
Yeah, and Paul, there's another one. Yeah.
There's a lot of responses to this type of argument. So it also depends on what specific argument's going up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There was a news There was a news recently where evangelical Christians were calling out Mike Pence for calling Pope Francis Holy Father. What are your thoughts on it? I don't really care.
What? Okay. Who cares?
Yeah.
This is what they do. They get mad when they hear anything Catholic. I
All
mean,
right, we got a very weird question coming up,
oh boy.
and it's Matt. So,
Oh dang it.
how
All right.
how badly do Than's farts smell? I actually have not been farting around Mike. I've been keeping it in.
Thank you. Now I'm concerned for your health, but okay.
It was a joke.
All
I
right.
just haven't been gassy. That's all.
All right. Let's move on. I would like to talk about something else now.
You should debate Bart Ehrman on if Jesus was buried. Bart Ehrman, where you at? I would actually love to debate Ehrman on that topic.
I know. Yeah. The problem is it's a niche topic. It wouldn't bring a crowd.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna.
But he's also just very wrong on this.
Yeah. What I want to debate him on though is traditional authorship of the Gospels. Did Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John write the Gospels? Attribute to them. That's what I would debate him on, because I think that would bring a crowd. You're debating traditional authorship. You just got to think of a good title. You know.
If not a debate, I would like to at least talk to him about it privately. Okay. Does God bless creation ministries such as AIG?
I don't know. He's not showed up and told me if he has or not. I mean, we all know them by their fruits. So are they producing fruits? You should, research it, see what you think. I mean, I think young earth creationism is not helping the church, so I would not see fruit in that. But, we'll see.
You should wait. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Dream blunt rotation. What does that mean?
I don't know. Dream blunt. Bart Ehrman, Muhammad Ajab, and all the women from the Jubilee video. I guess.
Like sitting in a circle doing.
I guess so,
illegal
man.
things.
I'm thinking like that 70s show. Like they're all just around and the camera is rotating and going each one of them. That would be fun.
Why do you want to be with these? I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Thoughts on deep history. I see some hints of Genesis, Job, and certain historical data. Adam and Eve, genes, Leviathan equals Mediterranean mega whale. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
On my old Exploring Reality channel, check out my Leviathan videos, dinosaurs in the Bible videos, stuff like that. You'll see some really cool stuff. Hey, IP and Than, I got an issue where my family believes in flat Earth, and I'm out here fighting a lonely battle against them. Any tips? Love you guys. Why are you fighting them on that? I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, we all know the Earth is a donut.
It's turtles, actually.
Turtles all the way down, except at the bottom there's a whale. That is some crazy stuff. I mean, like, I would just say be Socrates, start asking questions, like get the science of the round Earth. I can't believe I have to say that in 2025, and just start asking, hey, if the Earth is flat, why is this going on? Why is there a 24-hour sun at the North and South Pole, depending on the time of the year? Start asking things like that. I just can't understand why they still exist. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Whenever I'm assuming you're a Christian and your family is Christian. And oftentimes a lot of people are flat earthers in virtue of the fact that they think the Bible teaches a flat earth. So I would ask them questions about like what they think about inspiration means and how they're supposed to be interpreting the Bible and stuff like that as well, because that's going to be a part of the conversation as well. Okay. What's the best way to contribute? And if I donate through your website, will I gain access to member videos? How and where? God bless. Love your work.
Yeah.
While you're talking, I will just bring up the website again and do the stuff.
Yeah. If you donate through the website, that's the best way. We get 100% of what comes through there. Patreon charges like a pretty hefty fee. YouTube charges a pretty hefty fee. We also have locals too. They're actually a little bit better. But they also still charge a fee. But if you donate through the website, we get 100% of the donation, and you will still get. I email video early access of videos. I email access to the same benefits you get on Patreon. The only thing is I can't really do polls, but I don't really do them that much often. But I guess we could start doing that. Send emails like Matt. Like we could just, when we get the newsletter going, we can just send those like polls and stuff out in that and do that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, you'll get all the same benefits is what I'm trying to say. I email early access to videos, not so much as a benefit, but it's just as a token of goodwill to anyone who donates through the website.
Yeah.
So yeah, just donate through the website and you will get access to videos early before they're released for the public. And we got one coming out tomorrow on arguing the Pentateuch, the 5 books of Moses, are ancient And I think I've landed on the idea the Pentateuch starts being written under Moses and is completed roughly by the time of David and Solomon, and then it could still be supplemented up to about the time of Josiah, but very, very minimally is what I'd say.
Cool. And yeah, okay, cool. Let's keep going. I happen to have caught this stream live, so I asked my father if he had questions. He inquires, what you think might heaven actually be like? What tangible purpose might one find living eternally?
So the first thing I'd say is like heaven is just temporary. We're supposed to return to this world in the resurrection and live in this plane of existence forever. Now take that with how big the universe is, and we're going to live here eternally. Think you could find something to do or explore? Maybe there's some other planets you want to see, perhaps. Maybe it's going to be our job to turn all those planets into like paradises, slowly but surely. We'll start with Earth and Mars, then maybe Venus. I'm speculating, of course, but that's my idea. I think we'll be resurrected. It's going to be our job, based on what I see in Romans 8, that we're going to turn the entire universe into Eden, and that's going to take a long time, given how big it is. So,
okay, I was just bringing up something for a chat that I saw earlier. That's all. All right, what about dogs, though? Are they in heaven? Yes.
I think they're going to be in the resurrection for sure. So that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Because again, it's about the restoration of creation.
Any books you guys would recommend for a relatively new Christian? I finished reading the whole Bible chronologically, and I don't know what to do now. God bless.
Yeah, read Tim Keller's The Reason for God. I'd say go there. Check out some of his books. Check out some N.T. Wright books. I'd say those are two places to go from N.T. Wright and Tim Keller.
Yeah, if you're really into theology and stuff like that, like this isn't brand new Christian stuff, but eventually, I think Micah Heiser's Unseen Realm is a must read for understanding the Bible and the narrative of Christianity.
Yeah.
Would viewing Genesis 1 as material create issues? I'm assuming he's saying like material causation rather than.
Yeah, I think it creates issues with science, for sure. But I don't think that's a necessary reading of the text.
Finally, caught alive. Awesome videos. I've learned a lot about my faith from you two and AP. No relevant questions I have, though. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you for the very generous super chat.
Yeah, thank you for the generous one. Yeah, very much appreciated.
Do you guys believe the disciples were younger than they are typically portrayed in paintings based on passages like Matthew 17:24? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think they were in their 20s, early 20s when they started following Jesus. And I think maybe even the author of John was in his, mid-teens, maybe.
How can Jesus think his disciples can spread to all nations, including Americas, in their lifetime for his return, or Israel accept him as Lord when?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh no, when he gives prophecy of the temple being destroyed.
It's a good question. I think with God, all things are possible. I think if there was a true Pentecostal, like a Pentecost in every city that Paul went to, there may have been just rippling effects that could have happened that we just can't fully understand because we lack the faith that Jesus talked about during his ministry constantly. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. I think when we actually place our faith in God, we can do incredible things, Jesus says, but we just aren't there. And that's unfortunate.
Who's more credible, Kent Hovind or Daniel Pikachu?
Oh, Kent Hovind. I don't know. I mean, Kent Hovind has apparently got in trouble with some stuff on his weird dinosaur adventure place with kids anyway. So
wait,
yeah, apparently a kid died.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't do anything. I don't know. Listen, Kent Hovind is at least professes Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Apologies if my question is speculative, but did Joseph know he was of the line of David before the angel of the Lord appeared to him before him in Matthew 1:20? How did Jews at the time keep genealogies?
I think he did know. I think it's sort of assumed. I mean, it doesn't shock him. What shocks him is the angel. But I feel like if someone would come and tell me that, I'd be like, wait a minute, what's my lineage? What? I think Jews were very much interested in their lineage, and they kept it for a while.
Yeah. How did they keep the genealogies?
Oral traditions, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at some of the research on it, I mean, oftentimes in Bedouin tribes, they will have these long narratives in between aspects of their own genealogies, kind of like what we see in Genesis.
Mm-hmm. All right. Why does Jesus use "some standing here will not taste death" if he meant an event 2,000 years later?
Yeah, it's conditional prophecy. Well, first of all, that one, that what I'm thinking, that's actually talking about the transfiguration. Scholars are pretty much in agreement. Matthew, Mark, and Luke all put that line just before the transfiguration. They will not taste death until they see the kingdom coming in its power. And then the 3 disciples there do see that in reference to the transfiguration. So this is actually referring to the transfiguration, I'd say.
Why did Jesus say, "These are the days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written" in Luke 21:22 if prophecy could be postponed?
I mean, you just read some of the prophecy of the Old Testament. They will use things like sudden, imminent things. But I mean, Jeremiah 18 is very clear. They can talk in that language and then it can be revoked later.
Yep.
However, notice what you said. These are the days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. Notice the context is vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is in Matthew. All the blood of the prophets shall be poured on this generation. All that vengeance was poured out on that generation in 70 AD. But the second coming has been delayed because Jesus was very clear in Matthew 23, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Okay, case closed. It's postponed.
Blessings, guys. Been discussing regeneration infant baptism, and I feel like I'm in Hand Fiend's hell in his video. I'm LCMS. He's Baptist. Any advice?
And I feel like I'm in Hand Fiend's.
Who is that?
I don't know. I mean, infant baptism is in the early church.
Mhm.
I mean, I think only like Tertullian, as I can think of, who dissents, is the earliest one who dissents. But of all the church fathers writing about baptism, it's all pretty much in agreement with infant baptism. I mean, really, the first people to start like rejecting that are like the Anabaptists much later on. And even like Tertullian is not saying infant baptism is wrong necessarily. So, yeah.
Thank you again, Coley. And I'm just laughing because of the reference here. Did y'all see that Dan McClellan did a response video to Mike about slavery even after blocking him? That's wild. Are y'all going to respond?
Come back Monday, Coley.
For just so you guys know, Mike watched me do this. I have about 50 pages of notes that I typed up yesterday.
Yeah. Listen, don't be quoting a scholar that I email and talk to. I'll make you regret that. Because you don't take these guys out of context. They get mad. Dan, we know what you did. You should know what you did. I'm talking to you, Dan. You know what you did. We know what you did. We're going to show it on Monday. Have fun. We're all serious and you start snapping.
All right. What happened to humans who died before the Garden of Eden or before, hypothetically, Adam spread the gift of the tree of life as a priest?
We don't know. That's for God to judge.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately, he's omniscient. He's morally perfect. He will judge properly. Trust him.
Yep. Where do you disagree with, if anything, on John Wall's view on Adam and Eve or the flood accounts?
Yeah, I disagree with him on how to translate Genesis 1:1. I think it's when God began to create. He does think it's in the beginning.
Really? He thinks the definite article's in there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He thinks it should be translated with a definite article.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I also disagree with him on the Nephilim. He changed his view, and he takes a different view.
What does he take?
He now takes the idea that these weird chaos beings. He used to take the view I hold to, which is that they were just like descendants of humans, like rulers. But he changed that. He no longer takes that view. Yeah.
Well, so when you say chaos beings, is it still like rebelling Elohim?
I'm not entirely remember exactly.
Okay,
so
I'm interested. I'll look it up. Okay, what languages emerge after Babel? Is it literal?
I mean, what language? I mean, like we don't entirely know. I mean, it might be Sumerian, Elamite. I forget. Is that how you say that? Elamite. Yeah. I mean, those two languages are not connected to any known languages in the region, if I remember correctly, especially Sumerian. So that could be indications of that. But we don't know ultimately. We weren't, it's so far in the past that it's really going to be hard to find any evidence of something like that at this point.
In Good Omens, they poked fun at Job. They poked fun at that Job got new children he didn't know instead of the ones he loved. What is your thoughts on this?
No, read the church fathers. I mean, I think I remember Jerome and Augustine talk about this. Is that notice he gets at the end, he gets a double portion of everything, but only 7 children, not a double portion of new children. Why is that? Well, I think it's Jerome who said this. It's because they're still alive. They're going to be with him in the resurrection. So he did get a double portion of children because his children didn't go away. And so the author is basically saying those children still exist. He now has a double portion of children, and they will all be there with him in heaven in the resurrection.
I like that. I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
With all the verses in the Bible talking about not taking or adding to the Bible, how do we know it's talking about the canon Bible?
Yeah, I don't think it is necessarily. I think we've read that because, like, when John is writing Revelation, he doesn't have the canon in view. He has got his specific book in view. I think it's a good principle we can apply to the canon, but I don't think that's what's necessarily in view. But it's a good principle. We need to stop thinking. I'll bring them up again, like Dan McClellan, like thinking when it comes to these verses that we can't extract good principles that we can use for understanding scripture. I mean, anytime someone tries to do that, he throws univocality at them.
Yeah.
And I always say, no, you can use, it's not univocality or they all contradict. I choose a middle ground, similar vocality.
Yeah. This is an often completely ignored part of this conversation, but epistemology of theology is a really niche field that's really important in these discussions too.
Yeah.
So, and if you want to know about that, just look at the Oxford Handbook to the Epistemology of Theology.
We got 123 so far.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
That's huge. I love this. The video is called "The Definitive Guide to Debunking Creationists" full series.
Okay. All right. We'll look it up later. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put this up and then I'm gonna save this.
All right.
Thingy.
Oh, I got to read it?
I'm so sorry. I'll read it. Kelly Powers of Berean Perspective Apologetics. Very low-hanging fruit. Video title, Baptism Saves, Refuting Michael Jones.
Okay.
So, okay.
How about this, Kelly? I will go with what the church fathers said and what 1 Peter 3 says. You go with the Anabaptists.
I'm too lazy to...
I'm not going to watch the video, though. I prefer to read what the church fathers said.
I'll read you this one. I'm going to take pictures of those things. Is the virginity test in Deuteronomy not about a scientific way to prove virginity, but to allow the women to fake results because the husband is...
Yeah. Paul Copen talks about this whole thing. Like, yeah, it's like... Is the virginity test in Deuteronomy? Oh, in Deuteronomy. I'm thinking of the thing in Numbers. Hold on. Not about a scientific way to prove virginity, but allow the women to fake results because...
Is this the one where they have the cloth on the marriage night?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think first of all, one thing, this is, again, these are wisdom texts. They're not meant to give like jurisprudence, actual laws that they always need to follow. It could be the case of what you're hinting at. I don't know. I need to look at that one up again.
Yeah, I looked at this actually a while ago. I don't remember all the specifics on this, but I actually think that when you look at this, it's not a scientific thing. First of all, I don't think that's what was going on in the mind of the ancient Israelite. But I actually think that this is a really progressive law relative to what you see in the ancient Near East. And this was actually a law code. And I put that in air quotes because it's better interested in wisdom literature, right? But it's a law code that was progressive relative to the ancient Near East because it was put there to protect the woman from false accusations. Because in the ancient Near East, women were not treated that well. Maybe I'll write a script on this because if I can resurface my notes on this. Okay. Sometimes when I'm live, it's only Mike's. I didn't read the name. Sometimes when I'm live, I get so excited that I reminisce about the Song of Solomon.
All right, sir.
16.
All right.
Did you just assume their gender again?
Okay. Fair enough, but
oh my gosh, dude.
These weird ass people.
Look at this one.
Methane gas. Yeah. Straight gas.
Just like straight gas.
That is incredible.
I love this. Thank you so much, you guys. Thoughts on young Don leaving the faith? I still don't know really his story, to be honest.
I don't know his story that much well either. I mean, I don't focus on that kind of stuff because I'm always...
young Don is out there and wants to talk to somebody, I'm sure.
Hey, he can come on my channel. I'll have a conversation with him on the channel, like I did with Hunter this week.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I
or privately. Hey men, what? Oh, man, I like that.
How do you do,
Hello,
fellow men?
hello, men. What are your thoughts on the Christian Study Bible? Do you have a study Bible you recommend? How do you know you're saved? Thanks, men. What does JLY mean?
If you're baptized, you're saved. If you profess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, if you profess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. So yeah, there's that. I don't have that study Bible. I have an ESV study Bible, which I think is pretty good. I recommend that to people.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many things out there called the Christian Study Bible.
The Orthodox Study Bible is also pretty good. You get church father quotes in there.
Okay. One of my favorite study Bibles actually is I forget the name of it, but it's got like commentaries in there from all the church fathers. They just like take out things. All right. You think all animals / our pets will be in heaven? ?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's up to God.
I think it's very likely that some sort of animal universalism is true. Non-human animal universalism. Wow. Thank you, Fisherman's Corner, for gifting 50 Inspiring Philosophy memberships.
Thanks. Yeah, he's been very helpful. He's been doing that a lot in the past, so we really appreciate that.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. All right. Do you think Johnny Chang would tell someone...
Johnny Chang.
Dude, it's Johnny Chang. Sorry. Do you think Johnny Chang would tell someone to get rebaptized if they weren't baptized in the Trinity?
Well, he should.
I'd hope he would.
I hope he does.
I don't know him enough.
This is Mormon baptism is not valid. Neither is Jehovah's Witness because it's not in the Trinitarian formula. So yeah, I would hope he would.
If the Bible has God teaching a flat Earth, how is it not wrong? Like the firmament verses in Genesis 1.
Well, it's not. It's teaching theology and history. It's not teaching science. It's just using the language of the time to teach those truths. It's like, again, if I say the sun is rising, am I teaching flat Earth? Am I teaching the Earth goes around, or the sun goes around the Earth? Or am I just using common language of the day? Why couldn't God do the same?
Yeah.
Sorry.
100%.
Why couldn't God do the same?
Exactly. You know, they can see. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add into that, I guess. Okay. By 70 AD, the Old Covenant nation, unbelieving Israel, was judged, and the true Israel, the church, remained. This is how all of Israel was saved, through the establishment of the new covenant.
Old Covenant was judged. So the old.
This sounds like replacement theology.
I'm trying to be charitable and say it's not.
Okay.
I'm just like, listen, people always take things I say out of context. Like everyone's all mad because I said sin doesn't send you to hell. But I explained earlier in the stream what that means. And everyone's going to go flip out and take that out of context to say all sorts of horrible things. Like he doesn't think sin's going to send you. No, I do in context of what it actually means, though, as I explained earlier. So I'm trying not to take this out of context. The true Israel church remains. The true Israel is Jesus. All that are in Jesus are saved. He's the fulfillment of the covenant with Abraham and Moses. So all that are in him are saved. You don't go to heaven just for having the blood of Abraham in your veins. You go to heaven for accepting Christ. And that's important.
Yeah. Okay. I want to attend an Orthodox or Catholic church, but the ones close to me are like Ukrainian. Should I just attend or keep seeking?
What's wrong with Ukrainians?
Do they like it? Well, it could be the fact because Orthodox churches, if they're like Ukrainian Orthodox or Greek Orthodox, the liturgies are going to be in that language. If that's more so your issue, I would still attend. And what I would also try to do is talk to one of the priests there or anything like that, and let them know your situation. A lot of times, Orthodox churches that are centralized in one sort of like type of ethnicity or anything like that, they'll actually do their liturgies bilingually.
That'd be good.
I've been to some Orthodox churches, like Greek Orthodox churches, and they do their liturgies in Greek, and then they do the liturgy again in English. So see if that's an option somewhere nearby you as well.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anyone in the Bible who put their faith in God / Jesus? I'm not sure about that demarcation there, but despite the majority of apparent evidence pointing against God's existence.
Anyone in the Bible who put their faith? There's anyone in the Bible who put their faith in Jesus despite the majority of apparent evidence pointing against. What are you talking about? There's plenty of evidence for God's existence. I don't understand what you mean. The Romans 1 is very clear that people just, especially Paul, believed the evidence for God was just blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most ancient people were just going to be in that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to find anybody in the Bible that's an atheist.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to find people in the ancient Near East that are atheists.
There's some Greek philosophers who were kind of like that, but not
Yeah.
like even by today's reasoning or standards.
Do measurements a straight line prove a straight?
Do measurements? I'm sorry, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you for the $3.
Thank you so much. If all Israel refers to national Israel's future salvation, why does Paul define true Israel as those in Christ, not biodescendants?
If all of Israel refers to, because I think all of Israel is going to be brought into Christ. I think that's what he's talking about. Romans 11, like they're going to be saved, but they're going to be saved by accepting Christ. That's what I believe.
Okay, how would you rank the classic / common arguments for God? Cosmological fine-tuning, moral, ontological tag, consciousness, resurrection from 1 to 10. You just want to go on
cosmological 10, fine-tuning 5, moral 7, ontological 7, tag 3, but I also don't know much about it. Consciousness 8, resurrection 8 or 9.
Why do you put fine-tuning so low?
I have my reasons. I don't have time to go into it.
That's totally fine.
A lot of reasons. But
yeah, I would actually put fine-tuning up there like as one of the highest one. I guess it depends what you mean by fine-tuning, because like I have a argument that I'm putting together where it's like literally just one big fine-tuning argument, but it goes beyond like just the laws of nature. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I'm getting baptized next Friday.
Good.
Congratulations.
Good.
Been watching the channel for a while now and love you both. I've learned a lot from you guys. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Thomas. Great.
Yeah, thank you for the support. We're so blessed that you could we could be used.
And then baptize your children.
Yes. And your children's children. Than, what are your thoughts on Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that? Dan, what are your thoughts on it?
I haven't made up my mind. It's one of those things where it's just so personal, and I'm still figuring it out.
All right, there you go, George.
By the way, Christian Idealism posted a community post responding to what you guys said earlier in the stream. I saw the super chat come up earlier, and I've been reading through it. I'll just say this: it sounds like Kyle severely misunderstood what I was saying. I'll kind of keep it at that.
Okay, whatever. I don't have time. I'm doing this right now. I'm not going to stop and read that.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing a deep dive on the Shroud of Turin? Was skeptical at first, but now 100% convinced, and I'm sure it would make great content.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. So I need to do more research on it. But that's a whole another job to research the Shroud of Turin. I don't have time for a second job. I feel like that is what you got to study the Shroud of Turin is just
I tried, and I was like, I have to learn a bunch of new types. I have to learn a bunch of new chemistry to do this.
Yeah, man.
And I don't have the time to learn that stuff right now.
No, we got the Bible, and that's plenty of evidence that God exists.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly.
Dylan, thank you for the $20 super chat. You should debate Faith in Question. He's a skeptic, has a fast-growing channel. I think you could easily debunk and have for most of his claims. I know you two are busy, but it would be cool. Love you too. You both are great. Thank you so much.
We'll look at him up.
Yeah. If he's willing to have a conversation or within either of us, if we have the time, we'll look into it. Do you think the Bible is univocal? What do you mean by that word?
I mean, is it all inspired by God? Yeah, but there's different authors that are going to have their different flavors in it, which is going to dampen that understanding. So, I mean, like, they're not all necessarily saying the same thing, but they're all preaching a theology that is consistent with orthodoxy, is what I would say, and is going to push you towards orthodoxy.
Okay. Was Seti the first the pharaoh of the Exodus?
No, Ramesses the second was, and see my video Exodus Rediscovered. He was not the Pharaoh of the Exodus.
How would you answer somebody who says God was wrong for making humans?
Why?
Why?
Well, they need to provide an answer for that. That's a positive claim. That's
Yeah.
not it's not our job to debunk every positive claim if they've not provided evidence for that positive claim. Why
Yeah.
would we think that?
Why should I accept that value theory?
Yeah.
Joseph Prince said he'll be riding his flaming chariot around the universe, not sitting on clouds playing harps. Speed, man. Flaming
All right,
energies.
Joseph, you have fun, man.
What is this? Who's
He,
Joseph Prince?
he's a prosperity preacher, man. I'm pretty sure he's a prosperity preacher.
Interesting. Okay. I don't keep up with this anymore.
Listen, I had unfortunately had to keep up with it many years ago, but that name rings a bell. I'm pretty sure he's a prosperity preacher.
IP, the ancient church fathers interpreted generations in Matthew 24:34 as believers of all time. What do you think?
Yeah, I get that. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think that's really what the original author was getting at. So,
all right.
Yeah. I mean, again, it just becomes reading the text and a different exegesis. I'd be okay with that interpretation. I just am not. That's not the one I think is right.
His name is funny. Thank you for the super chat. Urinating broom.
All right. Well, everyone's different strokes, different folks.
Technical. Can a real, meaning non-abstract being A, can be identical to P plus X, and another real being B can be P plus Y.
All right, you answer that.
And A not be B seems no real being distinct from me can be identical to me even partially. Can a real? I have to reread this a few times.
Man, what are you doing?
Can a being A can be identical? So if A equals P and X, and another real being is B as P and Y, can A not be B? Seems like no.
I want this written out on a page from step 1, step 2, step 3.
I'm not going to get this dorky on the stream today. If you have a question about this in depth, you can email me, than@inspiringphilosophy.com. I'll say that. I feel God calling me to start an apologetics channel. I'm reading from Lacona and Copan. Other recommendations? What advice do you have?
Yeah, read Luke Vanderway. If you're reading that kind of stuff, I mean, just read a lot of the books I recommend in my videos. There's a reason I put so many quotes in the videos so that you have sources you can go to. Just if you go through one of my videos, just read all the books I recommend in that, and you'll get what you need per subject.
Levi, thank you for the other super chat. Yeah, my family are Christians, and unfortunately, they're fundamental and take the Bible hyper literally. However, do not. They use Isaiah 40:22 as proof.
What is Isaiah 40:22?
I don't know. Do you want me to look it up? You go look it up. While you're looking it up, I'll just say this. Then what I would do is I would challenge your family on kind of their hermeneutics, how they're reading the Bible, and how they come to their conclusions.
Oh, it's the flat earther stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah.
And the basic idea is you can ask your parents. Do they think emotions come from the kidneys? Point to other things that I think your parents might actually not agree with that the ancient Near Eastern person probably agreed with, and just ask them if they take these things literally, because more than likely they don't think emotions come from their kidneys. So if they don't take that, then they shouldn't have to think that the ancient Near Eastern author is going to be right about.
That's in Proverbs. My kidneys will rejoice when your lips speak what is right.
Yeah, there's tons of examples like that. Ben Stanhope might be pretty helpful here. He wrote what was the book he called?
Misinterpreting Genesis. He's correcting the Creation Museum.
Yeah. Check out that book. There might be some helpful information there. It's been a while. I don't remember everything in there, but it's related, and I think it could be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is eternal hell more just than reincarnation?
Well, I mean, you're assuming hell is eternal, and there were many church fathers who were annihilationists. So would annihilation be more just? Ultimately, if hell is eternal, which I'm not convinced it is, that's for God to decide. And I think even hardcore Calvinists like Wayne Grudem said, the reason people stay in hell is because they continue to keep sinning, and they just keep sinning, and therefore they stay there. It's not because the wages of sin is eternal hell; the wages of sin is death. But they keep sinning and rejecting God, so that's why they stay there. And that's coming from pretty hardcore conservative Wayne Grudem. So
yeah. One thing I would just add into this too is this is also just assuming that some people in hell just didn't get a fair shake, and maybe they should have gotten reincarnation. But Mike and I both agree that postmortem opportunity is possible. So those people that are not going to be culpable for their non-belief are not going to get sent to hell in a state of not being not culpable. And so why not just get rid of the whole reincarnation thing, and which adds a bunch of complexity, and just kind of go with what the historical church believed in, which is some sort of hell and no reincarnation, but just postmortem opportunity for the people that need it. Do angels have freedom of will? Man,
yeah, the ones that rebelled did, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they do.
Angel just means messenger, so that's the other.
They mean the spiritual being.
Yeah.
So yes.
Thoughts on the young Earth creationism debate? I find debating YECs to be annoying. How important is the debate?
It's not that important.
Yeah.
What I have debated with him is evolution compatible with the Bible? Because I'm just saying, hey, can't we all be Christians? That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I think it's important to just not be dogmatic about it. I'm fine if somebody's a young Earth creationist and all that stuff. What I'm not fine with is people saying it has to be this way, otherwise Christianity's false. I think that's the damaging thing. Trust Daniel Kikachu or fight a gorilla? I'm fighting a gorilla, man. I will lose, but at least I'll be able to put up a fighting chance.
At least I will die with dignity.
Yes, that's another good point. Did Jesus himself think he was going to return before the apostles' death, or just the apostles? And if Jesus did, how can an all-knowing God make that?
I don't think. I think he knew when he would. Actually, Saint Basil talks about this in like letter 236 or something like that. One of his letters, maybe it's letter 326, where what's he's saying when he says he doesn't know the hour, he's giving you like an expression. So you check out Saint Basil's letter. Let me give you the exact letter number so that I don't mess you up and you're reading a bunch of things looking, where's this letter? Yeah, but if you read Saint Basil's letter, I have it here. Yeah, 236. So Saint Basil letter 236 is where he talks about that just being an expression.
Cool. Big fan, man. I'm EO. Does theistic evolution go against the EO church or the church fathers, or is it compatible? Please explain if it's compatible or not.
I would need to know why it's not compatible. The assumption should be that it's compatible because you don't reject any core doctrine with the theistic evolutionary view that we have laid out. So my question would be to the Orthodox is, what are we rejecting? Like, what's the problem with what we have? We believe in a story called Adam and Eve, a garden, that Trinitarian God created everything. There was a literal fall, passed on the fallen nature. What exactly are we rejecting? Yeah,
I would say there is no issue. And I mean, if you think there is one, make us aware of it, because from my knowledge, it's actually pretty common to be a theistic evolutionist nowadays and be EO. Thoughts on 1 Corinthians 11:15 about testicles? I have to. You'd think I would have a Bible verse about
wait, no, that's about the hair thing.
Is it?
That's Michael Heiser's view. He wrote it in Reversing Hermann, that Paul is saying that like the ancient view among the Greeks was
about the hair thing. Oh, I have this off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually hold to this view. I don't know about you. By the way.
All right.
I think this is what's going on in Paul's mind.
Okay.
So the argument is like basically that Hippocratic biology thought hair was a sex organ, and the reason why, and by the way, like to get pregnant, the semen would have to go to your head, and so it was shameful for men to have long hair because you want all the semen to be down here instead of up here.
Such a weird thing, but just thinking about it, man.
Yeah, there's a really interesting paper on this.
Cut your hair or your semen's gonna get in your head.
And you won't be able to get people pregnant. Yeah, so that's I actually do hold to that view. That's probably in the backdrop of Paul's mind.
He doesn't hold to the semen view. He holds that was the ancient
that's
view.
True too.
Okay.
If you have more questions on that, you can let us know though. Is Christ present in the Eucharist, and in what sense do the elements change form in any way?
It's a mystery. We don't know. He is definitely present. He says so. Yeah. Just John 6.
Agreed.
Very clear. Very clear.
earlier in the stream, we kind of answered this a little bit too. If you want to slightly more in depth, just look for something related to that.
Go
Mike
through the
went on a-
transcript, search
Yeah.
for transubstantiation, you'll find it.
What is your view on the death of the firstborn? I'm assuming he's talking about in Exodus.
Yeah, I think that that there was a death of the firstborn. I think it's a little hyperbolic. It's like it's literally everyone. I think it's just basically going to be the elites among P. Ramesses.
Yeah. And another important note is just that the word firstborn, for some reason, people just automatically think babies.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's not necessarily babies.
David Falk has said very clear. It's designated heirs.
Yes.
You could designate another child, even adopted child, to be your designated heir, and they were typically going to be adults.
Yes. I am Mike's firstborn.
All right, then. Kind of creepy.
I'm struggling with my faith, and I want to object. No, objectively, I'm assuming no, if Christianity is true or not. If I'm going to commit my life to it, what do you think I should do?
I want to. So this is a very important question. I want to object. No, if Christianity is true or not. So I think it might be
Objectively.
Okay. Study the evidence for the resurrection. Study the evidence. Go through our 15-part series on the reliability of the Gospels, or the 6-hour video of them all edited together. Watch that, then watch the evidence, and then study the evidence for the resurrection. That's a pretty good case. Those two combined, reliability of the Gospels plus evidence for the resurrection, you're gonna get a very good case that Christianity is in fact true.
Is partial preterism a valid eschatology?
Yes, I'm a partial preterist, so yes.
All
favorite fundamentalists just clutch their pearls.
I know. Favorite UFC fighter? Mine is Beneil Dariush. I haven't been paying attention to the UFC recently.
Yeah, I like Daryl. Is he one? Is there one named Daryl?
I don't know any of the new guys.
Is there one named Steve? I like Steve. I'm gonna go with Steve. Get him, Steve.
I haven't had time to watch like stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I was into the UFC back in the Matt Hughes era.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Matt. Old Matt Hughes of the fighters in the ring.
The Fighters Guild of old.
I'm not into this.
Do you think the Shepherd of Hermas is heretical?
Yeah, I think it's preaching non-Trinitarian ideas, unfortunately. I think I think the author is just ignorant. I don't think he's like a hardcore like theologian that understands this stuff. So.
Do you have thoughts on Allender's new views? I know he's a friend of y'all's, so if you don't want to speak publicly,
I disagree with him.
I disagree with him. I said some stuff earlier in the stream. Again, transcript, and you'll find it. I'll keep it at that. What's your view on Calvinism and elect if God is just? I am not a Calvinist, and I think election does not equal salvation.
Yeah.
Help me understand Romans 1:20 for postmortem opportunity. I'm assuming that's the whole it's appointed once a man to die and then the judgment thing.
No.
Oh no, this is for the invisible attributes of namely his eternal power. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
I think Paul's just making an appeal to natural theology here.
Yeah. For sure.
That's it.
I don't see how that's gonna threaten that. Yeah.
Hey, IP and Than, love your ministry. IP, you've said homosexual thoughts are not a sin, but Jesus said lust with the eye is still lust. What's the difference?
No. That's not. If I said that, I misspoke. What I said is just having like tendencies, like being a homosexual in and of itself is not a sin. What is a sin would be acting on it.
Yes.
And also, there's a difference between lust
and a thought.
Yes. So, lusting after someone is a sin. But if I thought, hey, a beautiful girl just walked by, that's not lusting.
Yeah.
So let's be clear here. Like having a homosexual thought in the general sense that I'm a homosexual, like someone could say something like that. Like Than says that all the time. I was
wait, what'd you say? I like ADHD'd for a second.
Nothing. So you move on. Anyway, that's not in itself bad. Like just acknowledging something about yourself. You have these desires or something is not a sin. What is the sin would be acting on it or lusting after another man, which is obviously sinful. So yeah, thoughts and lust are different,
Thanos, again, thank you for the super chats. Advice for someone with a room temp IQ getting into apologetics, afraid to get stomped. As someone with it's room temp IQ.
So I'm gonna use that. I gotta write that down, man. Boy, you got a room temp IQ.
Is someone with a room temp IQ. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And
Anyway,
that was gay. Sorry. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and learn from them. And here's the other thing: don't put yourself into situations that you'll get stomped. And also, you're not going to get stomped if you're not a jerk. A lot of the times, the stomping happens when there's animosity. If you're just like having a casual conversation with people and not trying to dunk on people, they're typically going to reciprocate.
Yeah. And just remember, you don't have to learn everything before you start doing apologetics. Just go one step at a time. If you study this one topic and you do a video on it, do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to master everything else before you get into it. Yeah.
And it's also okay to get stomped.
Yeah, learn.
Yeah. It's okay to get punched in the head a few times. Did you heard back from Kim Iverson in regards to the debate whether Jesus?
No. She said, I'll debate anyone claiming she'll debate anyone if Jesus was a Jew. So both me and AP were like, yeah, we'll debate you. Dead silent, radio silence. We tried everything, messages, replying, retweeting, nothing. She doesn't want to do it. She knows she can't debate it. Don't post, I'll debate anyone on this and then not debate the people that actually want to debate you. What a joke.
I don't even know about this.
She's some Twitter.
No, she's a joke. I don't know who this girl is, but
she was arguing Jesus was not a Jew. Yeah, I know. I can see the numbers in your head and they're not adding up. I get it. I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, the arguments were some of the worst I've seen. I don't even have time.
Okay. Thoughts on the Unseen Realm? I'm assuming this was just sent because people know I'm a Heiser sent.
I mean, like, that's a must read.
Yes, must read. It's pretty much like, yeah, it's a must read.
I just disagree on the Nephilim. That's it.
Do you know who your DebateCon 6 debate opponent could be?
Yeah, I do.
Wait, really? Did you tell me?
I've told you. Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't. I probably just forgot.
Just think, big name.
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what James wants to set up. Big name. Big name.
Maybe we can talk to James and see if I can get something set up. Nah, I'm not known enough. Anyway, only Mike's $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Are you supposed to take something?
I like you, only Mike's. Come on. You and I go way back from like an hour ago.
You're supposed to probably just show a little skin or something.
All right, Brian. Right there. Okay. There, I did it.
Thank you for the super chat, only Mike's. This is very generous. Thank you. All right. May God bless y'all and the good work that's been done here. Any good books you've read in recent memory and any you would recommend to deepen theology/apologetics?
I mean, lately I've been reading a lot of historical books. I mean, I recommend O.M. Baki's book, When Children Became People, or The Idea of Natural Rights by Brian Tierney. Of course, Dominion by Tom Holland. But that's stuff. I've been just reading a lot of books on history lately.
All right. I haven't read this yet, but Joshua Sijuwade sent me this early author copy of his new Rational Ontological Argument, and we'll probably have him on after we read this through a little bit. So keep in tune for that. We'll also have Ryan Mullins on 1 week or 2 weeks. Eternal in Love, a little book about a big God by, again, Ryan Mullins. Is really cool if you want to understand just some more philosophical theology.
I'll do a book giveaway with him.
Yeah. And you'll get free subs to my OnlyFans. What's a good book to start learning about early church fathers?
Ooh, dang, that's a good one. I don't know. I just read them. I just read the church fathers. I don't need to read a book about them. I just read them. I can't think of anything I've read recently about explaining to me the church fathers. I just prefer to read them. So do that.
Have you thought Christianity could be pagan?
I have not. I've never considered that thought. You got me, Cole.
The Trinity's pagan.
That definitely is. It's just as pagan as Jesus is and his copying of Homer. I mean,
oh man. Okay.
I don't believe this nonsense. Have I thought about it? Yeah. Thanks for the $5. I'm not giving it back.
Is panentheism necessarily heretical, not to be confused with pantheism?
No, weak panentheism is actually compatible with Greek Orthodox theology. Strong panentheism is not.
Fisherman's Corner with an other generous.
Thank you so
super
much,
chat.
sir.
Thank you so much. Like and subscribe for salvation, except for only Mike. He gets 1 Corinthians 5 treatment to the wilderness.
Fair enough. I'll go in the wilderness. I'm just taking a gun.
I love the wilderness. Jonathan Rosado, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Thoughts on RZ VidMath proves God? Redeem Zoomer.
Oh, I've not seen it, so I can't give you
I
my
haven't
thoughts
seen
on
it.
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess, he's probably just trying to do like the an argument that says something along the lines like mathematical objects are real and mathematical objects have to be grounded in mind or something like that.
Why is my hair sticking up like just like a square?
Matt, we need to have a traveling hairdresser.
Oh my goodness.
What are you doing?
This is ridiculous here. I don't know.
If that's the argument, I don't know if I would
Hat
agree with it,
hair
but I'll have to check out the
walking
argument.
around with constant
Mike
all day.
is very worried about his hair right now. Jonathan Rosado with another super chat. There are Christians who think that there's no heaven, just a resurrection. What is your take on this?
I mean, they can. I don't agree. I think Jesus is very clear when he's talking to the Sadducees. He says, what did God say to Moses? He said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because he's the God of the living. Therefore, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were still alive somewhere in a sense. They just were not dead in the grave. They were still alive because he didn't say, I was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So Jesus cleared that up. And who appeared in the transfiguration? It was Elijah and Moses. Did they just come back alive for a minute and then die again? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I understood that a little bit differently, I guess, because I take heaven to be when you're resurrected and living in the new earth.
Yeah, I think there's an intermediate period. Yeah.
All right. Who is more ridiculous, the YEC advocates or the flat earthers?
Flat earthers.
Yeah.
Next question.
Who is your favorite of the three wise men?
Oh, Shadrach. I like it more than Meshach and Abednego. That's a joke. Don't take me. No, it's hard to be 8-hour videos. Michael doesn't understand the difference.
Have you looked into the evidence for Mormonism?
Yes.
I haven't looked that deeply yet. And what I mean by that is like I haven't spent an obscene amount of time researching this and like read all the literature I can. I actually was just recently on Mormon's channel talking about Mormonism too. So
yeah, I'm definitely not convinced, especially like when it comes to like things like the Book of Abraham. The replies I've seen from Mormons, just they don't understand the problems. Their rescue theories are completely ad hoc, convoluted. I'm not convinced. This is a huge problem.
Email, post mill, or pre mill? I am post mill.
Post.
Nice.
This is a post channel, ladies and gentlemen. Get used to it.
I actually didn't know that about you.
I did a whole video. I did. There's a 30-minute video on the channel. The end times, a new perspective. I am going into post mill.
I haven't watched all your videos.
Get out of your house.
Is that part of my job description?
Yes. You must memorize them all.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Again, well, yeah, you're my magisterium. Hey, Than, do you still like Dragon Ball?
No, he hates it.
But anyways, I've been struggling with that transition. Really, like, killed my brain for a second. I've been struggling with building a relationship with God. I have every logical reason to believe. What do you both of y'all think? I do still like Dragon Ball. Toyo Toro just released the art cover for the next chapter of the manga, and I'm super excited. Struggling to build a relationship with God. Here's my first question whenever I hear this is, are you involved in a local church? And by the word involved, I mean like you are entrenched into the community.
Yeah.
You are like, you're not just passively going, but like you're part of the community itself, serving the community and serving your town and everything through that community. Yeah. That's gonna be a huge part of your relationship with God, in my estimation.
I agree.
When I meet with people doubting their faith, the moment they start doing that stuff, a lot of things change really quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. I think the ultimate reason a person should give his life to Christ is not precisely by pursuing the truth, but by pursuing righteousness in a manner akin to the Beatitudes. I think some atheists do honestly follow evidence.
I don't see why it needs to be this is an either or. Why not?
Yeah,
those also seem mutually exclusive. So
I see them as part of the same project.
Yeah, exactly.
Pursuing the truth as pursuing the good.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys think about Protestant baptism? Is it valid? Who validates the person
Yes.
baptizing?
Of course it is. They're doing it in the Trinitarian formula. Look, Trent Horn was on my channel like about almost a year ago, and he says, listen, if two atheists got together and one decided he was a Christian, and he asked the atheist, baptize me as the way that Christians do because I'm a Christian now, that's a valid baptism. Baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you're good. So I mean, yeah, those are valid baptisms. If you're baptizing in the right formula that Jesus taught, it's a valid baptism.
All right. What are your thoughts on Gavin Ortland? Why do you think he gets so much hate?
Because he ruffles feathers, and that's what he does. It's just the way he doesn't deserve a lot of the hate, but he gets
I don't even know he gets hate. Like, I don't really pay attention to that. Man, I should.
Look, he dives into the Protestant Catholic debate a lot, and we stay out of that. So that's
probably why I'm not aware of it then. Okay. Goat Hub. I am I am the only practicing Christian in my family, and they seem to not want to discuss it. Any advice? Thanks. God bless.
Be Socrates. Start asking questions. Hey, have you ever considered this? Have you thought about this? Hey, you remember when we were talking about this? Well, I was thinking, maybe start talking about like the benefits of Christianity. The studies have shown that Christianity is associated with more self-control, more pro-social behavior. Have you less depression? I know you said you were depressed, if you consider that, maybe try that kind of stuff. Ask them questions about what they're interested in, and then try to bring it back to Christianity.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Urinating broom again. Why is IP drinking moonshine? Also, please go over your reservations with fine tuning. Seems to me pretty good.
This is not moonshine. It's just a little wine.
I just put some stuff in there. That's.
I'm fine. I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. Everyone's fine. It's water.
Why do you hate fine tuning?
Why do I listen? No, it's not that I don't. So the reason why I just think it's not, I think it's a secondary argument. It's useful for arguing for God's existence. I just think you need to do a cosmological argument first, because you got to show the universe has a creator.
Oh.
So it's a good argument, but it's something you use in conjunction with the cosmological argument. It's like cosmological. Guess what? Also, we've discovered fine tuning. So that's the way I look at it.
So, like, if you're taking like the classical approach,
yeah,
giving deductive arguments,
yeah,
but from a Bayesian approach,
yeah,
you're okay with it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. Where are we? John Silberg, thank you for the super chat. Have you had any interaction with Sam Shamoon?
Yeah, I've met him in San Diego. He's really nice.
I have not yet.
He can he is convinced I'm Catholic. Absolutely convinced. And I can neither confirm nor deny the allegations.
Hate Than's guts. I hate my own guts too.
Mm-hmm. You heard it here, folks.
And usually Mike defends me, but I've subjected him to a lot of turmoil.
Cold.
So he's not going to defend me now.
Cold up here.
Thoughts on the late atheist philosopher Kai Nielsen?
Oh, I love Kai Nielsen. He was great. Really good ethical philosopher. Great work. Yeah.
Is the Apocrypha inspired?
If you're a Protestant, no. If you're Catholic and Orthodox, yes. I mean, and it also depends on what you mean by the word inspired, because different groups will define that differently.
I'm trying to study church history and Christian theology. What books would you recommend for doing so? I just purchased James Hitchcock's book.
Well, William Lane Craig is coming out with like a systematic theology. There's also a good book called Classic Christianity. I think the author's last name is Odin, actually. Check that out. Yeah. So church, yeah, I'd say they go there, yeah.
Okay. Church institution or the believers. Love your ministry. God bless you, brothers. I don't really understand the question.
Believers. That's what I'd say. I get what they're saying.
Sam, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Hello, IP and IPP. I have a loving relationship with a Muslim woman. It has been 1 year and doing great. Her family is not aware about me. Thoughts?
If you're serious about this, you need to. It sounds like you're actually like dating.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I mean, you got to lead her to Christ. That's important. Start witnessing, doing some apologetics, getting her to think about this stuff. She wear a hijab? I mean, man, it's interesting. I've not been aware of it. Yeah, I mean, like, But yeah, I would just start witnessing and lead her to Christ if you're really serious about it. That's your job
Yeah.
as a leader of the family.
Yeah, that would be my first piece of advice before even worrying about her parents.
Yeah.
I would be equally yoked.
Yeah.
All right. Does Than believe Nephilim equals sons of God's children? I do.
No, you're wrong. Watch my 40-minute video on the Nephilim.
You have a. I'm not surprised you have a video on that. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll look at it.
It's part of the Genesis 1 to 11 series. I did it's like 38 minutes, and I basically the video is like,
why would I listen to an apologist over real scholars?
It was basically me, the whole video is me just frustrated that I can't agree with Heiser on it, and this is why. That's the video. I'm literally upset I can't agree with him on this.
Okay, I will watch your video and then I'll call you and argue with you.
Okay, you'll lose.
Urinating broom again. If every single human comes from Adam and Eve, doesn't that mean lots of incest or bestiality, sex with?
I don't think every single human comes from Adam and Eve. I think that's an assumption we have.
Agreed.
Again, you got to why was Cain scared people were going to kill him? Genesis 1 talks about humanity general. Adam and Eve aren't on the scene yet, so the assumption is that all humanity, wherever they are, is made in God's image, and then Adam and Eve were elected to be the first priests in Eden.
Okay. So. This next super chat is from one of my best friends, actually, one of the guys I told you about, and he texted this instead for some reason. Is he going to debate Destiny or Ben Shapiro?
I'd love to debate them both. We'll see. I hope so.
It'd be fun to debate them, Ben Shapiro, and like Jesus.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Cool. Yeah.
What is your favorite worship music?
Old hymns like "Be Thou My Vision,"
nice.
"Come Thou Fountain," that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm along the same lines. Now some people might not call this worship music, but I'm a big screamo guy, and there's screamo Christian music out there that I actually really find very compelling. So,
all right, we've been going for 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna try to get through these. If we need to, though, we're gonna up the ante. We're only gonna start responding to super chats that are like $10 or more. Because
do you want to go to bed and I'll finish it off?
We keep going as long as you're good.
I'm good.
All right.
Thoughts on George Jenko and Sam Shamoon? I'll follow you, Lido. George Jenko and Sam Shamoon podcast controversy. Also, any good books? I'm currently reading Tactics by Greg Koukl.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Sam Shamoon's whole issue on that. Seems like they're on good ground. George Jenko doesn't want to release the podcast. I disagree with that decision. But if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. At least they're not fighting. They're not being mean to each other. That's good to see. So, yeah.
Had a Calvinist tell me Molinism is more philosophical than theological. Thoughts?
No.
I don't even agree with the distinction.
No, it's in the Bible, like Genesis 50:20, for example. I mean, I'd say that's better understood in a Molinistic framework. See William Lane Craig's debate with James White on that, on Unbelievable. I think William Lane Craig did really well showing Molinism is in the Bible. Yeah.
Any good resources to show and combat the Muslim argument that the Gospels we have are changed? Heard Muslims say Rome made them more pagan.
Sir,
oh my gosh.
We have a 15-part series on gospel reliability on this channel, and it's all in a 6-hour video that we uploaded in January. So watch that, and it will give you everything you need.
Bro's phone keeps tricking me. I'm assuming he's saying like when we look down like this.
Oh, well, we gotta look stuff up. I don't have a computer in front of me. Sorry.
Anyway. Fan, you setting up a Christian Minecraft server, I join. I'm not. I don't have the time to do that. But if somebody else sets it up, I will.
Oh, yeah.
Should we make that like something for Patreon for supporters?
Yeah, we're gonna set up a Minecraft server where Fan can play with other bands and they can build really cool structures together.
Okay. I will, if supporters want to play with Minecraft with me, I will.
Fine, you guys play it. I'm not.
Somebody wants to set up the Christian Minecraft server, I will.
Do it.
I will do a supporters Christian Minecraft server and play with you.
Do it.
Have you touched on why Matthew is the only gospel that talks about the dead resurrecting? Oh, okay. Alex O'Connor frequently uses it.
Yeah, he does. It's a big
one. Oh, you know what? I've heard this so many.
He brought it up on Jubilee with you.
He did with me.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, because of
you answer this. I'm gonna go. You use the restroom.
Mike's gonna go poop.
Big one. And I'm not flushing.
I'm gonna have to. Oh man, I'm gonna have to fix my toilet. I've been asked this so often at this point that I think what I'm gonna do is just write a script on this and tackle this subject specifically. Um, because quite frankly, I think it's ridiculous. So here's a brief overview while we're waiting on Mike, and then if you guys want more, let us know. I will just do a long form script on this, and we'll publish it through our channel. One, it's an argument from silence. So actually, let's even back up here. Some scholars like Lacona will say that like this is an example of ponderance. So Matthew wasn't even intending for this to be literal or anything like that. I don't take that view. I think Matthew meant this literally. One, it's an argument from silence, and I think arguments from silence are probabilistically weak at the end of the day. And I think there's a lot of assumptions that go into this as well. Like Alex O'Connor saying, well, like, this is a huge event and blah, 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 blah. Here's the problem. It doesn't say how many people there were that rose from the dead. This is also in the Greco-Roman world where people believed in miracles and claimed to have seen tons of miracles and all these other things. Matthew's writing to a Jewish audience. Other people are not. There's so many different factors at play. So, yeah, I just think the argument kind of sucks, and I'll write a script because I'm very triggered about it.
I didn't wash my hands. It's like wash my hands.
Actually, no, I know they did because your hand felt really soft and it smelled nice.
Awesome.
Okay. Hey, IP, will you make a response to Josh Bowen, Kip Davis, and Rationality Rules on your... Oh, I did see that. I was wanting to tell you. They made a video about you on Rationality Rules.
They made several because they're...
No, like a recent one.
Good for them. They have... We'll look at it, but David Falk is going out of town. He's going to Egypt. And like, honestly, from the last one, they have made so many errors. It's not even worth it at this point. Like, we're just going to keep pointing out. And again, they're not even dressing our model of the Exodus. Like, they're not. What I've not watched. I have no desire to at this point because it's just so bad. It's again the amount of mistakes at this point. It's just not even worth it. And again, when they offer a better model to explain the data, then I'll listen. They have not done that, and they can't.
All right. Any good resources on Jesus speaking Greek? Michael Reeves, good for learning about ECFs. For Jesus speaking Greek. Oh man, what's his name? Who wrote Can We Trust the Gospel? Peter Williams. Just Google search Peter Williams, Jesus speaking Greek, and you'll find something. I don't know what ECF stands for.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Forget off the top of my head.
Do you think Jesus is very particular, cryptic about hell because he didn't want people to glamorize it, or any other reason?
Yeah. Jared Tolkien's kind of said the same thing about it. That's why I didn't tell you why Sauron became evil. When you study evil too much, you become infatuated with it. And so there's certain things that God is not telling us, so we're not tempted by it, because like we don't have the knowledge to really understand it like that.
Urinating Broom, thank you again. Sharing some propaganda. Read Thomas Traherne. Christians should read him more. Centuries of Meditation is awesome and has lots of insights. I haven't heard of that before. Have you?
No.
Bought a $60 Google Play card for this stream.
Thank you.
Used it up. Love y'all. Keep up the good work. You see Richard Dawkins. Why are you running? Richard Dawkins, where are you at?
Richard Dawkins, where are you at? Why are you running, son?
Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, I would debate Dawkins if he wanted to.
It's where we're spoofing Central Dawa because in the middle of his debate with AP, he's like debating AP, and all of a sudden he just goes, Wes Huff, where you at? AP is laughing his ass off. It's amazing.
Jay Sway, can you say the apostles got things wrong? Example, Paul not banning slavery even though he had progressive views on it, or is that heretical?
We're going to talk about that Monday a lot when we respond to Dan McClellan. I don't think Paul even came into his mind. He's focused on theology. He's focused on how the Christians should act in the world they're in. And even David De Silva talks about this in his book. In his book, Honor, Patronage, and Kinship, he says, if Paul would have wrote a letter to the Christians, which were read publicly out loud in churches, slavery should be abolished. The Romans could have treated that like a slave rebellion and could have just used it as an excuse to slaughter them all. I think Paul might be thinking, be very careful with what we say here. We don't want to say anything to get these guys killed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I don't know. I almost feel like it's like a categorical error to say Paul was wrong for not doing this.
Yeah.
Because of the context he's in.
Yeah.
Fisherman's Corner again with another 50 memberships. Thank you so much. Can you idolize knowledge and intelligence?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Why not? Yeah. Don't
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were the prophecies against Tyre and Egypt fulfilled in Ezekiel 26?
That could be a case of conditional prophecy that God revoked it. I mean, it's in the background knowledge. So that could be a case of that. I should do a video on that. I've been meaning to for a long time and just haven't gotten to it.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
$20 super chat. Thank you so much. Advice for breaking out of hedonistic patterns from before you were saved.
Get a good pastor, a good church that is going to help you with that. You can't get out of that stuff alone.
For those that don't know, I was not always a Christian, and I lived a particularly rough lifestyle as a hooligan of sorts before as a Christian. So I agree with everything Mike just said. Find people in your life and be open and vulnerable, as embarrassing as it is, with those people, and get help with being accountable to those actions, and just be gracious with yourself because it's going to take time. All right. Someone create an IP Discord server.
Yeah, I don't even like Discord that much. I find it confusing.
I'm on Discord a lot, so
you should do that.
I can do that.
That'd be good. You should do. Actually, that'd be really good because people would ask.
And we can have the Minecraft server through the Discord too.
You young people in your weird Discord and Minecraft
Matt!
servers. That's something you can totally hit up because
I will talk to Matt about that. And
people have been asking me to do Discord for a while, and I just have never had the time.
It's one of the reasons you hired me.
I pay you. Yes, I pay him now.
So I will get on that. I'll start a Discord server and we'll get things rolling there.
Yeah.
Okay. This is for Than's Gains. Did you hear that crack in my whole
I did, yeah. I was like, did you break something?
No, that never.
Oh, he broke a hip. You just.
Anyway, it's for Than's Gains. Also, can you look into being able to submit questions with a donation through a website so YouTube doesn't get my money? Does YouTube get a portion of the money?
Oh, sure, for sure, yeah.
Really?
You can do that when you put a donation through the website. There's a place you can
actually
write something out.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually a really good idea. I'm surprised we didn't think about this. Matt. Okay, so when you go to the donate page, which by the way, I'll just put into the chat again really quickly for people. When you go in, there's a little add note / comment box right here. So if you're a person that wants to donate monthly and do that here. But for the super chats specifically, if you want to have an answer questioned on the podcast or on a live stream, if we're going to do one, just click on this with your one-time donation, and then you can type in your question, say like, for next stream, why is Than prettier than Mike?
Because he's more feminine. You walked into that one.
Sexier, more masculine. There you go. There. whatever the question is, do that, and then that is a good way of doing it, and we'll look for that and we'll take a note of it. That sounds like a good solution. Yeah. Cool. Look at us solving problems, man. If I'm currently listening to David Wood and Matt Dillahunty on God versus secular humanism, I'm assuming those are who he's talking about, is better for society. If you have seen it, what are your views? I'm a Christian, but I feel Matt may be making good points. I haven't watched it. Have you?
I think David slaughtered him. Honestly, it was just David just. I have to go back and watch it again, but I think David just basically won that easily.
Yeah, and if you want like a good case that Christianity is better than secular humanism, we have a series on it, and Mike recently debated Lawrence Krauss on that,
and I debated an actual sociologist, Phil Zuckerman, on it. Did. You know, that's the more important debate in my view, because that's the expert there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In light of Romans 1, suppress the truth and unrighteousness. Do you believe all atheists suppress the truth since God's existence has been clearly perceived by all?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't psychoanalyze everyone. I can't get into their inner thoughts. God knows the heart. He will know who's suppressing the truth and who isn't.
Is gooning a sin?
That's a Gen Z word. I know it is. It's like when you obsess over a girl who's like an OnlyFans model.
I don't want to Google this. It sounds sexual.
No, it's kind of like when you're like these guys who are like always commenting under like these OnlyFans models, and like Oh, you're so hot. Oh, you're so sexy. It can be for sure.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
sinful. Or at the
No.
very least, just come on, man. Don't
Don't
sacrifice your
be doing
dignity.
that. Yeah.
Have some
Be a
dignity.
man.
Hey, Mike and Than, thank you for all that you do. Could the use of Epi and Mark 2:26 be locational in Mark 12:26? This is John Wenham's view.
Oh, I think that's. Oh man, I can't remember those verses off the top of my
I need
head.
to. How about this, Ryan Sweat? Because we've talked before. Email me your question so that way I can actually get to it in a not live stream moment where I have my Greek stuff in front of me. Is that fair? I'm assuming that it's nod your head. Yes, I can see you. Okay, you're nodding your head.
Mark 2:26 is he who entered the house of God. Oh, this is the time of Abiathar and the high priest ate the bread of the presence. I got a video on that on the channel where we respond to Bart Ehrman. So there's even a video on this. So you just Google inspiring philosophy, Abiathar. You'll get that video, and they'll probably answer that in a lot of detail. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you look at this one really quick because people are yelling at us for not knowing what gooning is, and I'm scared to look it up.
Okay. Did I get it wrong?
People are saying we're really innocent now.
Oh my. Okay, I thought it was okay.
Okay, this just sounds like hedonism. Gooning is a lifestyle of self-pleasure that involves repeatedly increasing stimulation. Okay. Yeah. No, that's
I
sinful.
thought I've always been told like if I've commented under like people on Twitter, like someone's like depressed and it's like a girl and I'm like, seek Jesus, and then someone will say stop gooning, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not like commenting on her looks or anything.
I feel gross just for anyway.
Any hoot nanny. What's this? Read this.
Since there seems to be a diversity of philosophies like Platonism or Aristotelianism in Christianity, can Eastern philosophies like dependent origination can be compatible with Christianity?
I think so.
Eastern is really broad.
Very broad, yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't know what specifically dependent origination is. I mean, it sounds like it could be. Just as long as you're not rejecting any core doctrines, you good, bro. That is important.
Yeah. All right.
Woohoo!
Ooh, another $100 super chat. Thank you so much. I was recently baptized, and your videos were a major part in convincing me.
That's awesome.
Matt, you should
screenshot that now.
Okay, cool.
What are you doing? Screenshot it on your.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah. I know I can do that. I'm just.
This is PC users, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, like,
I don't have this fancy.
You don't need. They don't even have a keyboard shortcut. No, I mean, just screenshot the little thing on the side.
I just did this. I know. Well, I'll go back.
All right, fine.
You want me to screenshot this thing?
Yeah, just screenshot. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Now screenshot it. Come on, you can do this.
Okay, I can do this. I'm capable.
Excellent.
There.
All right, he did it, ladies and gentlemen. Now everyone give Than a round of applause.
Thank you so much for the testimony and the super chat. Yeah. We are so happy that you got baptized.
Good, absolutely, yes. Especially if he sounds like maybe that name just makes me think of. It sounds Islamic. That's why I thought.
Yeah, if you have a testimony, like really specific testimony, email it to us too. We'd love to hear it.
Matt. Matt is what it says.
Matt is my name, so when you scream it in the stream, I get anxious. Like what?
Sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to do that, Matt. It's the social media manager's name is Matt.
Yeah,
and he's always bothering us with stuff we have to do.
I also wanted to say thank you so much for the interaction. Have been a big fan of the channel for a couple of years, and it's helped me in my walk with Christ. God bless you both and your families.
Thank you.
What is your take on violence in Matthew 11:12?
Matthew 11:12. I don't think there's a lot of violence in Matthew.
From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force.
Okay, so from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. So this is just talking about how there's been prophets martyred, people working for God have been martyred in His name. I think that's just what that's focused on.
Okay. Mike, what's something you like about Wisconsin? Thanks for coming to Eau Claire.
Cheese. They got a lot of good cheese. Cheese is good.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is one of the people from the event we were just at. So thank you for having us.
Yeah.
That was great. If an atheist isn't suppressing the truth, what else could they possibly be doing since God's existence, if clearly perceived?
I don't know. That is It's hard to say because, again, we can't psychoanalyze everyone. Maybe they all are. I can't say for sure. And I'm not going to go out and make that kind of claim because I'm not God. I can't read hearts. So
I don't know what this word is.
what is it?
Thoughts on Maya-fistis?
Oh crap! This is an incarnation thing. Let me look it up really fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up too.
Just Google it really fast because I know this is an incarnation thing. This is about the natures of Jesus.
Doctrine that states Jesus is both fully divine and fully human in one nature. The term.
Yes, it's about having one nature instead of having two natures. Yeah, it's heresy. The church was very clear. Jesus has two natures, so it's heresy.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that before, and I'm really surprised. Okay,
yeah,
I have something new to look at. It's heresy. Ready to see you in Sarasota, brother.
Oh yeah,
God bless y'all.
I will be in Florida at Apologeticon conference in Sarasota, Florida. Can you type in Apologeticon real fast? Apologetic, so 2 C's con. You only did 1 C, didn't you?
Apologetic.
You only did 1 C.
I'm trying my best.
You're not doing your best though. Forgot to say. There you go. Now put that up on the screen if you can. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna be. It's Apologetic Con. There's 2 C's in there, as you can see, and you can come see me in Sarasota, Florida, in a little bit. I'm gonna be there. Lee Strobel's gonna be there.
Yeah, look at all these.
Yeah, so
trying to zoom in so people can.
Yeah.
There.
So yeah.
Boom.
Yep. I gotta talk tomorrow. I gotta get together next week on how Christianity created science. So I'll be doing that.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, come check it out. There you go.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the super chats, Mike.
Oh, we got through them all. Nice.
Yeah, we did 197 tonight.
Well, that's good.
It's huge.
We can't get 3 more. Oh, that's a shame.
3 more.
3 more, and then we would get to 200. But
that's okay.
That's good. Oh, we got one. Oh, look at that. It just came in.
Yeah.
So what is this one?
It's still coming. What is the biblical mode of baptism?
Oh, the sprinkle versus dunking thing. I don't think there is a biblical mode of baptism. I think it's just these are valid ways to do it: dunking and sprinkling. I think John the Baptist dunked. I think the eunuch from Ethiopia may have been sprinkled. I don't know, but I think they're both valid modes. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about that question, to be honest with you. So I don't have a position, like an official position.
Yeah.
Blah. I appreciate the dedication, man. Caleb asks, I've been yet to find a non-progressive church. Should I go to a Catholic church where I know they are more biblically based, or keep
if that's what's closest and you're going to find a community that's going to help you grow, then yes.
Yeah. In my own, I won't say where, but in my own experience, I am part of a local church that I diverge from a lot, but they're the best church that I can find for my family and everything. And so they welcome me with open arms, despite knowing.
And I attend a redacted.
Yeah.
I attend a redacted. You heard it. I said it. It's redacted.
Yes. 199. Yeah, I think you were actually 201. So,
right, cool.
But which is better anyway. So,
all right,
guys.
I'm going back to Tucson tomorrow, and then we'll be live responding to Dan McClellan Monday. And then Tuesday, Esoterica response. You guys keep asking me about. That's happening. So yeah, you've been asking about it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to do this one last time because otherwise Matt will yell at us.
He always yells.
Link is in the comments, you guys. Remember, we are trying to raise enough support so that way Mike can pay me to be full-time. For context, I work other jobs to try to do this and support my family, and the goal is to eventually get me to dedicate all my working hours to this. Yeah. So remember to go to that link and try to donate to us if you can. Share with people, share this donate link with people that you know might be in a financial position and wanting to support the ministry mission that we have too. Even if they don't watch our videos or know of us, if somebody sell it to them for us as well, because this is important work. And if you find the value in the work that we do, it'll be really helpful. We actually just got some extra super chats in, Mike, but if you want to go to bed, I can.
No, do the last two. So for the first one, maybe I'll look more into it.
Okay.
And then what does that say?
Have equal yoked arms. Am I interpreting that right? I'm looking for a church denomination without all Catholic sacraments. What do you suggest? Without all the Catholic sacraments, what do you suggest?
Anglican, Lutheran,
Yeah.
Methodist. Find one where you're going to grow.
And if a Catholic church is the only one that you can find and you don't agree with all that stuff, just don't partake in those sacraments. Or I would still recommend at least being part of a church body.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
very
not
important.
being-
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. I think that's all we got. Mike, any last words? No.
No.
Yeah. If I click end stream, is it going to play?
No,
Okay.
hit end stream and then you'll be able.
It's going to play the ending video.
No, you got to hit another button.
Oh, okay.
Amateur hour over here.
Dude, okay. I'm so sorry. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. You made it to the end of this video, which means this message matters to you. If you want to see more content like this reaching people for Christ, you can help make it happen. Your support makes these videos possible. Click the link below and donate today. And if you want to go even deeper, consider joining our Patreon community. You'll get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and a place to connect with others passionate about this mission.